for additional details.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The KSL News Radio app will update you on breaking stories.
A house explosion this afternoon.
And you'll get exclusive audio streams from local events, breaking news, and sports.
Cougars feel like they can overcome anything.
All of your favorite KSL hosts are there too, so you can listen anytime. Plus traffic and weather. Download it today. The app for KSL News Radio.
KSL pregame scoreboard update.
Well, it's been a struggle all year long for North Carolina, and that continued today in the Wasabi Fenway Bowl against Connecticut. The soon-to-be fighting Bill Belichick's lost that game 27-14. UConn comes out with a bowl win for the first time in a long time for UConn, by the way. Nebraska is currently taking on Boston College. Boston College has 2 points on a blocked extra point, and that's all they have for the entire game. Getting ready to go to the fourth quarter. It's 20-2 Nebraska over Boston College in the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. Now back to Matt and Mitch for more extended pregame coverage for your BYU football.
BYU, Colorado. Special extended pregame coverage on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back into extended pregame coverage, BYU and Colorado from the Alamo Bowl. Scoreboard update, it was kind of crazy. North Carolina falling to UConn. Chapel Hill not off to a great start. Nebraska taking down Boston College right now, and it's a loaded day of bowl action here in college football, but the headline game is tonight, 5:30 p.m. BYU, Colorado. It's a top 25 showdown. Number 17 Cougs, number 23 Buffs. First meeting since 1988, and it's the first meeting between these programs as Big 12 foes. So unique circumstances here in the Alamo Bowl tonight. Matt, this is a game where I think bowl games, when we talk about some of these outcomes, when you look at a North Carolina losing to UConn, you wonder how motivated was North Carolina, transition with a new coach. Were they motivated for this game? I think the motivation, though, for this one, BYU and Colorado, is there for both teams, and even Connor Pay highlights that with that they're playing for the seniors.
Guys like Tyler and me, this is our last chance in a BYU uniform, and that's plenty of motivation, and going along with everything that Jake said to make this game really exciting. But this is the last time we get to wear that Y on our chest and be with our teammates, and you want to go out and perform the best you ever have. It's your last chance. There's nothing to hold back, and that's the mentality that we're taking to this game, at least for the seniors too. And then, like Jake said, there's a lot of cool things surrounded with a bowl game like this, and we're really grateful to be here.
That's good stuff from Connor Pay, and I think he's dead on that these guys. I think also, I don't want to put words in any player's mouth, but the way last year ended, Mitch, I think adds to the appreciation this time around for the Alamo Bowl and wanting to play, even though I think the pain is still there of not being in the Big 12 championship game. Jake Retzloff has joked over the past couple of weeks that this is, to use his words, the, quote, people's Big 12 championship game. But I think the way that things went down last year, there's new appreciation this time around. Because, look, you were there in Shreveport a couple years ago. I don't think there was much appreciation down in Shreveport, but it's a different vibe this time around.
No question. And you could sense that being around the players and the coaches. The Alamo Bowl, it's still a bit of a throwback to bowl seasons of old where you're spending a whole week. And I kind of wonder, is this necessary to spend 4 or 5 days and lose out on your Christmas for these players.
And swim
Is
with dolphins.
that really necessary? You kind of wonder if that's needed. But I will say that these players and the families that have traveled with the players, they're real appreciative of it. And there's a lot of resources put into this Alamo Bowl. And, it's one of the bigger payout non-college football playoff games, about $9 million between the two teams. And you can sense that there's a lot of money in this game. So the hotels, the festivities, a lot of resources put into it. So I think that, having a power conference opponent and having a visible television window, I just think that there is a lot of appreciation. I think you hit it well, Matt, because last year at this time it was a complete transition where, who's leaving, who's staying, and can BYU win a game ever again in the Big 12? Are they just left for dead in this power conference that they've been dreaming of for years? And, Utah was getting all the spotlight, and, well, BYU took that spotlight for most of this season and was really impressive this year. Now they just look to really give an exclamation point to what's been a successful season and maybe one of the best BYU seasons of all time when you consider the strength of schedule that BYU navigated to get to 10 wins and now with a chance to get their 11th victory.
And yet they're still an underdog. There's still not a lot of respect, and players have taken note. Here's what Chase Roberts thinks about not maybe getting the respect that this team deserves.
Ever since the start of the season, we were underdogs when it came to winter workouts, spring ball, fall camp, and that's the mentality that we had going into each game, and that's the mentality we have going against Colorado. We're just excited to go do what we do and show that we can play football, that we can match up with anyone.
I like that they have this vibe, Mitch, the underdog mentality, because that's true. And I think that has served well for BYU in the Kalani era. When they're the favorites, sometimes it feels like, can they live up to that? But when it's like BYU is counted out and they don't get respect, I feel a lot better about those BYU teams and in big games than I do the ones where, hey, BYU, they're supposed to win. Can they take care of business? Throughout the history, there's been times where they haven't. That's not the case in this game, though. The underdogs again, and I like BYU in that position.
He's Matt Baiamonte and Mitch Harper. This is extended pregame coverage, BYU and Colorado from San Antonio. Taking a break. We'll get to some tidbits on this roster and BYU's preparation for the Alamo Bowl right here on KSL News Radio.
Did you know that most adults with autism are unemployed and a major hurdle is the lack of job opportunities? Well, that's about to change thanks to a new initiative from Autism Speaks, Lee Container, the J. Donald and Laurel Lee Family Foundation Fund, and Delivering Jobs that seeks to create a more inclusive workforce in the U.S. Lee Container is a family-owned business that has found success by staying true to the golden rule: treat others as you would want to be treated. There are hundreds of thousands of people with autism and people with intellectual or developmental differences who are ready and willing to work in our communities. Our coalition is committed to hiring an inclusive workforce, providing training for hiring professionals, and providing guidelines for all employees. Together, we can create a workforce where people of all abilities can contribute and thrive. Will you join us? We are inviting other businesses, institutions, and community leaders to join in. To learn more, please visit autismspeaks.org/employment.
Better health isn't always about the big things. Sometimes it's a nudge from a friend, or a head nod from a fellow jogger, or even a smile from across the breakfast table when you've decided to pass on the bacon. It's the little things that lead to better health, and Regents is here as a partner, opening doors to the care you need, no matter the size, because it all adds up to something big, a healthier you. Regents Blue Cross Blue Shield of Utah. Together we health.
It's 12:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Brianna Willis. KSL's top local story this hour. Snow totals this weekend may exceed 2 feet for central Utah mountains. 2 storms will be coming through the valley, bringing snow and rain up in the northern Utah mountains and upper Cottonwoods. The first storm today will bring up to 18 inches. Tomorrow and Monday, a colder system will come through and bring 4 to 8 inches, especially in mountain areas close to the Utah-Idaho border. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. If you're traveling this weekend, you won't be alone. AAA says most Americans will be traveling by car. More from ABC's Jacqueline Lee.
More than 107 million people will be hitting the roads, so the worst time to drive this weekend is smack dab in the middle of the day, around noon to 6 p.m. But minimal travel is expected December 31st and January 1st.
Coming up, KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 12:31.
We've been telling you guys about how Master Electrical Services has joined Mountain Home Services, but you want to talk about one-stop shopping. Mountain Home Services has it all right now.
That's right. Not only do they do your electrical and your HVAC needs, but now let's add fireplaces to the mix.
I don't know anyone in the world that loves a fireplace, a gas fireplace like my mother. In the summer, she will fire it up. She loves it so much. And now Mountain Home Services can take care of all of this for you and pick out a beautiful fireplace for your house.
It all comes with their upfront pricing guarantee, which means there are no hidden fees and 100% satisfaction guaranteed.
And they will install. Mountain Home Services, this isn't going to be like some third party that comes into your house. You're going to get the same expertise that Mountain Home Services has always offered. Again, this is the company that we trust, and so can you.
Find them online at mountainhomeutah.com. That's mountainhomeutah.com.
Or give them a call at 801-543-2222. That's 801-543-2222.
At KSL, it is our hope that every child will have a warm and joyful holiday season.
So we need your help. Donate today to KSL's Quarters for Christmas.
100% of your donation goes straight to the kids.
Donate online at kslquarters.com
or at any Deseret Book location. Pennies,
dimes,
dollars.
The money you give buys shoes and warm coats for Utah children in need.
We can't do it without your help.
Please give what you can today
at kslquarters.com.
News doesn't just mean information or dates.
It's the story of our local history being told in real time.
Be a part of the story. This is Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
We hope to be a part of your story. We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair. Save on every gallon with the DinoPay app. There's a dense fog warning advisory in effect in Vernal, Utah until about 1 p.m. this afternoon. The Uintah County Emergency Management has said to drive slowly, use headlights, and leave plenty of distance between other vehicles. Rain expected through today and into the evening hours in the Salt Lake Valley. Higher elevations should expect snow. Right now it's 46 degrees and cloudy with some wind in Salt Lake. I'm Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's not a college football playoff game, but today's Alamo Bowl is a chance to end BYU's season right.
Jake turns and gives to Sione Moa. Moa running hard, 15 and 12-yard line for Sione Moa.
The Cougars take on Big 12 rival Colorado, and a chance for the Cougars to win game number 11. This is KSL's special extended pregame coverage. BYU, Colorado, on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back into extended pregame coverage. BYU and Colorado here on KSL News Radio, coming to you live from San Antonio, Texas, the site of the Alamo Bowl. BYU and the Buffs are going to take place inside the Alamo Dome. It's been an eventful week here in San Antonio. Yesterday, even church officials made the trip here to San Antonio. Elder Razband was with the team yesterday. It's been just a lot of BYU people, and that's what's fun about bowl games, that you see all these people come to these games to be part of this experience. And coming up a little bit later, we'll be joined by Brian Santiago, Tom Homo. You'll hear from quarterback Jake Retzloff. Loaded show coming up for you as the Cougs get ready for their final game of the season. And Matt, it's what's interesting amidst all this bowl prep has been roster construction, and BYU and Colorado have had to navigate the transfer portal while getting ready for this game.
BYU got a unbelievable piece of transfer news last week, though. We had a show on Saturday, and then Saturday night, I'm laying in bed. I go to bed early. I got kids that wake up before 6, so no midnights for me. Looking ahead to New Year's Eve, I'll be sound asleep by 10. I will not be ringing in the new year with other people. But before I fell asleep last Saturday night, Chase Roberts announced he was returning it for 2025. I think that is a very sound decision by Chase. I'm not sure he would have gotten drafted. He would have been fighting an uphill battle to make an NFL roster. And in today's day and age with NIL and revenue sharing coming down the road, Chase is going to be one of the faces of BYU football next year. And that is a great opportunity on the field, and it's a great opportunity off the field. And then when you put it in the, in the context of roster construction, it's probably the biggest addition to next year's roster, Mitch. Chase is a bona fide number one college football receiver, potentially an NFL guy. We'll have to see. Fit is a big deal when it goes to the league. Does he get the right opportunities? We'll find out. But to get him back, that is an enormous addition to next year's roster for a plethora of reasons, one of which that I love is that I think it slots in the rest of the receiving room properly. JoJo Phillips or Keelan Marion, they can elevate to number 2, and then maybe not, depending on what Darius Lassiter decides with the JUCO ruling. But you basically run back that wide receiver room again, depending on Lassiter. Whereas if he doesn't return, who becomes the number one guy? Are people being asked to do things that they're not ready for? But that's not going to be a problem next year. I just thought that was a huge move end of last week with Chase.
It was the right move, and I think that, I know that this era of college football can be challenging on fans where you're thinking, man, is there loyalty anymore to teams? There's so much movement. I can't keep tabs of the roster anymore. Everyone's moving. Players are going for money. But I think that when you do have guys like Chase Roberts who are older, and I think that's what factored into the conversation for him as to whether or not go to the NFL and chase it, even though that he might not get drafted or he might be a late prospect. Years ago, he probably leaves because what else can he prove at BYU? Now he comes back. He's going to have an NIL package. He's going to have revenue share. And, the money into the sport creates where if guys are willing to stay, man, they can become all-time players in BYU history. Chase Roberts has that in front of him now, starting tonight with Colorado. But then next year, if he has a 1,000-yard receiving season next year, he could be in the top 5 all-time receivers in career receiving yards in BYU football history, and that's significant. And I think you could look at him maybe as an all-timer if that happens. So I think that's and I bring that up because I just think that there's so many narratives about portal and how it's draining on the fans, but there are positive situations like this one where because of the money being involved in college football, guys like Chase Roberts are more inclined to stay. And I think that's exciting about today's day and age of college football, whereas in years past, I think these guys would have left and just said, you know what, I'm going to take a shot, see if I can get that opportunity in the NFL. I'm older, and I want to go get a paycheck. Now he comes back, and he's going to get paid and compensated. He's going to be a star for BYU.
Well said, and I think that's a great point. There's so much negativity around college football, and there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense. But one of the positives with players getting paid and revenue sharing down the road is, to your point, which is a good one, Mitch, that some guys I think will value staying the entire amount of time, and because it's a way to maximize your earnings in college, enjoy the college experience. BYU, by the way, is a great place to enjoy the college experience because of the networking and opportunities. You see it from former athletes who stayed their entire time at BYU and what that's meant to them professionally. Not even some of the greats, but look at Jimmer. Jimmer is still, he came back his senior year and became a legend, and he's going to have ties to BYU for the rest of his life. And there's a lot of examples in football as well. Taysom's still playing in the league, but when Taysom's done, it's going to be the same thing with Taysom Hill. And so that can be Chase now. If he has the type of year you're talking about, Mitch, that's a big deal, short term, long term. And at the end of the day, the age thing, what's the difference between 24 and 25 or 25 and 26? At the end of the day, it's going to be an uphill battle either way. Why not maximize the college experience and then go chase that dream next year? And that's what Chase is doing.
I'm with you, and I think that sometimes a lot of these guys that go, 4 colleges in 4 years, like what college are you attached to when your playing career is done? Who are you an alum with? There's something about maybe lifelong NIL opportunities that you bring up. Jimmer, that guy can profit off his name, image, and likeness because he is a BYU legend.
Yep.
The same with Steve Young. The same with Jim McMahon and things like that. So.
But even guys like Max Hall, too. I mean, Max Hall is still relevant amongst BYU. John Beck, yeah, great point.
Yeah, so there is tons of value, and if you win at BYU, this fan base will put you in high regard, and you'll be almost like a celebrity-like figure. There's so many programs out west in college football, they just don't care as much for their teams as you think they should. I mean, last night I'm watching USC and Texas A&M, and there's, about 30,000 fans inside Allegiant Stadium for that game. I'm thinking to myself, BYU used to just pack Sam Boyd Stadium in the Vegas Bowls back in the day. And you think, this is USC. They're just hours away from Vegas. Why would they not drive to this? They just don't care. If they're not elite, they don't care. BYU fans always care no matter what. And for a guy like Chase Roberts, man, you come back, you get paid, you do your thing, and you have a chance to take BYU to new heights because next year the challenge is when you come back, you want to go take it to a higher level and improve. And what's the improvement from this year to next? What's going to win a Big 12 championship? And I don't know if that's my preseason expectation for next year, but if you are going to improve from this season, that's the next move. And if Chase Roberts can be part of a team that can deliver that, that's legendary stuff. And I think that's the type of thing that can have lifelong NIL that sometimes gets forgotten when all these players have this movement taking place in the portal era.
Speaking of the movement, here's a couple notable departures. Cody Epps, he found a home. He's going to Western Kentucky. Crew Wakely, looks like he got offered by Iowa State, so maybe he'll be transferring within the Big 12. Incoming guys, let's throw a few names. Some of these we know, and some of them are new to the last week. And you tell me which of these guys are going to be significant impact players next year. You get a defensive end commitment out of Texas coming to BYU, Tassili Akana. Fresh off a mission, a defensive end, never played it down at Utah, but was committed there. Hunter Clegg flips to BYU post-mission. Another defensive end transfer from Southern Utah, Anisi Purcell, and then a tackle, Andrew Gentry, a guy we know well. We've had him on the show, transferring from Michigan to BYU. Which of these guys are going to be impact players next year?
I think Anisi Purcell, and that might be the least known name out of the group, but there's such a need at defensive tackle. He played D-end at Southern Utah, but he's going to be a DT for BYU, and they could pack on the weight to him. He could easily get it to be a guy that, maybe gets to 300 pounds in his BYU career. He's going to step into the interior and probably be a factor right away. Tassili Akana is next in line because he's that type of pass rusher that BYU is craving at that edge spot. They've had Tyler Batty, who's the first-team All-Big 12 performer. He's been outstanding for BYU, but they want more. They want an edge guy to emerge that's a big sack total guy, and maybe it could be Tassili Akana. It's still projection-based because he hasn't done much at Texas the first 2 years, didn't really sniff the field. But the talent is there. It's just kind of harnessing that and maybe reminding him a little bit of that he can still play at this level and do it at high clip. So because that's one thing about transfers. I mean, if there's always a little bit of a case of, well, why are you transferring?
Right.
Like, why would you? What's the issue here? Why did it not work out at Texas? Why did you not really have any sort of game appearances? What's the deal there? And so it's a little bit of a filling out, but the raw measurables and athleticism is there, and BYU really believes they've got a player that could be a special edge rusher for them. So those would be the top two guys. I think Clegg's going to be a case where just get him back to, get him built up in the weight room, maybe get him up to like 250, 260, somewhere in there. But I think, with 9 months to really get ready for next season, he could be a factor potentially. If you're going to be an RM and have any sort of chance to play off the mission, you've got to be arriving home now. And I think so he's back home from his mission, and so that'll give him plenty of time to really get his legs back underneath him and get ready for next season. But, Matt, looking at tonight's game, BYU and Colorado, they win this, Matt, I just feel like, and then you look at these moves that they're making where it's quality over quantity in the portal, this could be a really good team next year that could potentially be better. So that's why I feel like tonight's game against the Buffs could really have some tangible momentum and, talk and hype around BYU football in the preseason as they get towards 2025 next year.
And speaking of guys playing tonight, that JUCO waiver was crazy. I don't know if you missed that, BYU fans, earlier in the week, but Vanderbilt's quarterback, Diego Pavea, spent some time at the JUCO level, was at New Mexico State, then transferred to Vanderbilt, and they've had some nice wins. And he wanted some extra eligibility after spending some time in the JUCO ranks, and he got it. So anyone that spent time in the JUCO ranks that's on a Division I roster right now, they've got the chance to get another year of eligibility. And there's guys playing tonight that fit the bill for BYU. Darius Lassiter, Caleb Etienne, Maury Bamba, Hinkley Ropati, Ray Ballo. Are you getting a sense that any of these guys are entertaining returning to BYU next year?
It's still to be determined. With Lassiter and Etienne and Ropati being class of 2019 guys, they might need a hardship waiver to get the ability to get an extra year potentially, because this was for players from 2020, class of 2020 and beyond within a 5-year cycle. So we'll see how it plays out. But, I think that if any one of these guys came back, I think it would be valuable for BYU, particularly Maury Bamba. I think he's the one I look at and say that's the player that would be the one that makes the most sense, because BYU has a pressing need to get another cornerback, and they really like Maury Bamba. He got banged up at the tail end of fall camp, but he was one of the fall camp stars. While Mark Collins was recovering from an ACL injury from last season, they were kind of treating him lightly going into the year. Maury Bamba would be the one that I look at and say that makes the most sense, where BYU has a need. Maury Bamba probably wants to be an NFL guy. Why would you go to this path of football at this high level and just say you want to just go through the grind of football and not have a goal of being in the league? It'd be well served for him to get more game film that can make a case to be an NFL guy one day, because you talk about measurables and combination of speed. Maury Bamba's that dude, and he could be a guy that's a combine hero one day, but he needs the game film to match up with a guy that has great combine-type numbers. So he would be the one to me that makes the most sense to run it back one more year. The rest of the guys, I think I could understand moving on because you are a bit older, want to maybe see what's next in your life, and I'll understand, too, BYU's got to want them back as well. And I think it'd make a ton of sense if, Etienne and Lassiter wanted to come back and they had another year available to them. BYU would welcome them with open arms, but I think that you got to kind of be selective, too, because you only have 105 spots on next year's roster.
That's a good point. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, Mitch has been in San Antonio since Christmas night. We want to report on the Riverwalk, the festivities. Looks like it's been a lot of fun down there, and we'll discuss that next here on Extended Pregame. BYU and Colorado getting you ready for a big bowl game tonight in San Antonio.
Shopping for a new Kia Sportage? Jerry Seiner Kia South Jordan has a great selection to choose from. Save up to $4,000 off MSRP on new Sportage. Yes, $4,000 off. With interest rates dropping, now is the time to buy during Kia's Season of New Traditions sales event. Visit Jerry Seiner today. That's Jerry Seiner Kia South Jordan.
Discount off MSRP includes dealer contribution tax, license, and fees are extra. See dealer for details. Expires 1/2/2025.
Lowe's knows how to help you save time and money, no matter the job. That's why we can deliver supplies to your job site as soon as same day, so you have more time to get the job done. Because when you need it fast, we've got you covered. Lowe's knows pros. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
This holiday season, Capital One reminds you to give yourself the gift of 1.5% cash back with the Capital One Quicksilver Card.
Can I earn 1.5% cash back on birds?
Birds?
What if you sent your true love 2 turtle doves plus a partridge in a pear tree?
Sure, but why would anyone want that?
The song was very convincing.
Earn 1.5% cash back on all your holiday purchases with the Capital One Quicksilver Card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Find peace this holiday season at Conservation Garden Park, a serene 8-acre haven in West Jordan. Winter hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Admission is always free. Learn more at conservationgardenpark.org. That's conservationgardenpark.org.
A new presidential cabinet is coming together, and Utah's legislative session is just weeks away. Stories are breaking in Utah and in the nation's capital. Keep up with Tim and Amanda each morning between 5 and 9. Then Dave and Dejanovic at 9 and Inside Sources at 1. And Jeff Kaplan on the drive home from 3 to 7. Frequent breaking updates in the car on KSL News Radio.
KSL pregame scoreboard update.
Well, Boston College has turned the ball over on downs 5 times in this game against Nebraska. It's the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl, and they are currently down 20-2 deep into the fourth quarter, and it looks like Nebraska is going to wrap this up. Early in the New Mexico Bowl, TCU just scored again, and they're about to go up extra point pending. There we go, 14-0, TCU over Louisiana. Earlier, North Carolina fell to UConn. A couple of games coming up a little bit later this afternoon. One that I'm very excited about. Iowa State against Miami in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Should be some offensive fireworks in that one. And, of course, coming up at 5:30 this evening, we're all looking forward to BYU taking on Colorado. With your KSL Bowl game scoreboard update, I'm Jason Jones. Now back to Matt and Mitch for extended BYU pregame coverage.
BYU, Colorado. Special extended pregame coverage on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back
Merry
in.
Christmas.
Oh, Mitch, I cut you off. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
I was just going to say welcome back in. How was your Christmas morning here in Utah before you took off to San Antonio?
It was good. We had a great Christmas. Santa came through as he always does, and we had a great time celebrating. And this time of the year, I never know what day it is. It felt like the night I left for San Antonio, that felt like a Sunday, and then the next day felt like a Monday, and then I was like, oh, this is Saturday. Like, this kind of feels actually the first time this week where I feel like this is what the day should be. Like, yes, this feels like a Saturday. I'm watching football on TV. I'm watching a random branded bowl game, Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl in my hotel room. I'm talking to you here on KSL News Radio, getting ready for a BYU game day. So, yes, everything's restored. We're back to, the appropriate day of the week, understanding what it is. But this is always a fun time of the year. How was your Christmas?
It was, I can't lie to you, and I can't lie to the listeners. It's been a rough week at the Bayamonte household. My 1-year-old got hand, foot, and mouth on the night of the 23rd. So she was miserable. She cried all of Christmas morning, which was not fun. And now that passed on to the 4-year-old. I think everyone's on the mend now, but not ideal to spend a week of fevers and blisters. Luckily, I didn't get it, but it was not ideal, Mitch. I
did deal with that too. My son, he had an ear infection, so he's feeling better too. On the mend, everything's good there. So, but I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas and hope they have a happy and safe New Year. It's BYU and Colorado game day, extended pregame kickoff tonight. 5:30 here in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome. It's been fun catching up with players and coaches getting ready for this bowl game. And I got to say, Matt, being here in San Antonio.
Is this your first time?
First time. This is an awesome setting for a bowl game.
It's a cool town, isn't it?
It is, because I'm here at the Marriott Riverwalk. So it's right on the Riverwalk, the hotel. And you walk out of the hotel, and you can either go street level or you can go down and walk the river. And it's just really cool to see all the restaurants lined up along the river, and it's just so much fun, and everything's walkable. You can even walk to the Alamo Dome from here. No need to have a car. It's been really fun. But what's been very surprising, and even BYU players that I've talked to after the pep rally on, again, I don't know what day it was, but I believe it was Thursday, they were surprised that Colorado kind of outnumbered BYU. And that's just different because BYU just, in these neutral settings, always outdraws its opponent. But this week, it's been pro-Colorado. And these Buff fans, they are hyped for this game. They have traveled in numbers. I do think, though, the wild card that Colorado fans don't understand when it comes to BYU is that I'm sure there's a lot of Lone Star State Cougars that are going to make the drive in today that'll show up for game day.
Yep.
Maybe they weren't part of the bowl week festivities, but they're going to show up today. So I'm holding out on kind of what the turnout is for BYU, but throughout the week, it's been pro-Colorado, and it's been, heavily favored to the Colorado Buffs in terms of fan show out.
Do you think that's simply due to the fact that Colorado's been so bad for so long, and
Yes.
this is a generational team for them?
Yes, no question. It's a send-off for Shedeur, and we expect that it's going to be a send-off for Travis Hunter, obviously, and I think that's playing a role. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, they haven't been to a bowl game since 2020, but that was during COVID, so that was limited fan attendance. You got to go back to 2016 when it was a normal bowl week setup for involving Colorado. So it's been a long time, and they haven't won a bowl game since 2004, so they're feeling like, yes, this is our year, got to show up for this one, seeing these generational talents that have really kind of changed the trajectory of Colorado football. I think they're all leaning in. And then you also have the element of, I would imagine, Matt, that some of Colorado's fans maybe were not Colorado Buff fans 3 years ago. Fair. But because of Coach Prime and because of Shedeur and Travis Hunter, they've created a lot of people that just love this team now and love Coach Prime, and they're going to go out and support Coach Prime. Even, in my Lyft rides throughout the city, some that I've taken, all the drivers, except one, have known about this game, and they always bring up Coach Prime in the game. They're not mentioning BYU people. And even yesterday at the kickoff luncheon, so ESPN analyst Dusty Dvoracek, he goes to the podium, and he's talking to all the people that paid probably thousands of dollars for tables. Us media schmucks, we had to stand in the back, no table for us because we got in free. That's okay. But, Dusty Dvoracek goes, I was talking to Shedeur, talking to Travis. They really like SeaWorld. That was fun for them. And then he looks to his right and goes, yeah, I was talking to the BYU guys, and he's like pausing for a second thinking, yeah, you guys like the pep rally. Yeah, that's right. Like, he goes first name basis with Travis and Shedeur, but for BYU players, he probably didn't remember their names. He goes, oh, the BYU guys. I'm thinking, dude, you called a BYU game just a month ago, the Arizona State game. Come on, you don't know who these guys are, but that's just what it is. It's all about Colorado this week. BYU's flying under the radar. They got a chance to play spoiler.
And that's a big deal because this conference, man, we saw it throughout all of the weekly ranking shows. This conference is fighting an uphill battle. You look at the numbers and you look at the teams and you look at the wins. This is a very good power conference. The gap between the SEC, the Big Ten, and the Big 12 is not the Grand Canyon, even though some people would like to say that it is. I think in Arizona State, a BYU, a Colorado, they can compete at the highest level with those conferences. I don't think that there's a gigantic difference between those two, but yet that's what the media would feed college football fans, is that it's all about the SEC, it's all about the Big Ten, and for whatever reason, and I think we know the reason, it's Deion and Prime and Hunter and Shedeur. Colorado is kind of immune from that thinking. They get the respect, they get the cachet from media people. That's why this is a big deal for BYU, because you have a chance to kind of prove to the national landscape of college football that you can compete at the highest level.
Taking a break, Associate AD Brian Santiago next here on Extended Pregame on KSL News Radio.
Utah's legacy home of the Cougars. KSL FM Midvale. KSL Salt Lake City.
From ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. Russian leader Vladimir Putin apologizing to Azerbaijan's leader, but stopping short of taking responsibility for the crash of an Azerbaijan Airlines plane in Kazakhstan. U.S. officials say they believe it was a Russian missile that hit the plane as it was flying over Russian airspace. ABC's Ines de la Catera.
We are now hearing from U.S. officials from a high-level Azeri government source that it was the Russians that would have fired an anti-aircraft system, or at least that the evidence is pointing towards that possibility. But again, still waiting for official confirmation there. They're going to wait until the investigation is complete and until those black boxes are deciphered.
38 of the 67 people who were on board the flight died. Israeli troops storming one of Gaza's last hospitals Friday, forcing staff and patients outside in the harsh winter conditions, says Gaza's health ministry. The Israeli military accusing Hamas of using the hospital for cover. Governor Kathy Hochul in New York has ordered 14 correctional officers be fired after an inmate was beaten to death at a correctional facility near Syracuse. More from ABC's Morgan Norwood in New York.
Officers holding 43-year-old Robert Brooks down on an exam table, while other guards punch and kick him in the face and body. At one point, an officer chokes Brooks. An investigator's deposition did not cite any apparent provocation or motive, and notes that Brooks had his arms restrained over the course of the 15-minute assault.
New York Attorney General Letitia James released the body cam footage and is conducting an investigation. Former NYPD Chief of Department Jeffrey Madry accused of sexual misconduct. Lieutenant Lakeisha Ebbs accusing Madry of sexually harassing and assaulting her in exchange for $200,000 in overtime, but Madry's attorney, Lambros, says there was not a quid pro quo.
Lieutenant Epps had a consensual adult relationship, albeit for a short time, with Jeff.
And says his client never harmed anybody. You're listening to ABC News.
Holidays are upon us, and you know what that means. It's a crazy, stressful time of year. That's why I want to tell you about Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers, with 7 proven forms of magnesium to target every system in your body. Don't let stress and burnout ruin your holidays. Get Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers and give your body the magnesium it craves. It's the perfect gift for yourself or a loved one this holiday season. For an exclusive offer, go to bioptimizers.com/radio and use promo code radio during checkout to save 10% and transform your health. That's bioptimizers.com/radio.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Bills piling up? Rent due? Just need some extra cash to get by? Then you need to go to getcash.com, where you can get approved for a loan of up to $10,000 in minutes. No need to search through endless loan sites. Getcash.com is one of the largest lender networks. They can help anyone get up to $10,000 regardless of their credit score. Best part? The money can be in your bank account as soon as the next day. When you need fast cash help, go to getcash.com. That's getcash.com.
It's 103 at KSL News Radio. I'm Brianna Willis. KSL's top local story this hour. Snow totals this weekend may exceed 2 feet for central Utah mountains. 2 storms will be coming through the valley, bringing snow and rain. Up in the northern Utah mountains and upper Cottonwoods, the first storm today will bring up to 18 inches. Tomorrow and Monday, a colder system will come through and bring 4 to 8 inches, especially in mountain areas close to the Utah-Idaho border. Speaking of snow, several resorts have exceeded a foot of snow from yesterday and into this morning. Little Cottonwood Canyon saw the most snow overnight. Alto is dumped with 15 inches of snow the last 24 hours, and Snowbird scored 14 inches, leading to an amazing powder day today. Brighton scored 10 inches overnight and Deer Valley 9. Other resorts had a good amount of snow as well. Snow Basin, Solitude, and Sundance all had 8 inches of snow. Park City at 7, Woodward 5, and Beaver Mountain at 6 inches. Coming up, KSL weather is next. KSL News Time 104.
Hi, this is Doug Wright, and over the years, you've heard me praise the Kinetico soft water systems. You've heard that so often, you might be tempted to chuck a shoe at your radio. Well, hang on, because I've got some great news. Get this, Kinetico will pay you $50. I'm not kidding on this. They'll pay you $50 to buy a competing water softener from another dealer. Ready for the rules, though? Well, they're pretty simple. Invite Kinetico of Utah to your home for a free estimate on a Kinetico water softener. If within 60 days of hearing them out, you buy any other system from any other water softener dealer, Kinetico of Utah will fork over $50. That's how sure they are that after hearing them out, you won't settle for anything less than a Kinetico water softener. Now, this offer does expire in 30 days, so don't delay. Call Northern Utah's authorized Kinetico dealer dealer, Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, 801-576-8600, or log on to softwaterutah.com. That's softwaterutah.com. Tell them Doug sent you.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then, someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
You know what's great about KSL's traffic coverage? Trained traffic reporters and real listeners.
Trading information and making the commute safer and faster for everyone.
Every 10 minutes on the 9s, we have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair. Save on every gallon with the Dino Pay app. One crash on the I-15 northbound in Provo before West Center Street exit. Currently only the right shoulder is blocked. Then a second crash, again on the I-15 northbound in Spanish Fork right before the Main Street exit. No lanes closed there. We have a high of 45 today, leading to an overnight low of 35. Expect rain in the valley through the weekend and into Monday with snow in higher elevations. Right now it's 47 degrees and cloudy in Salt Lake. I'm Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com. Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
BYU's magical run started 9-0.
Retzloff under some duress will take off and run for the first down inside the 20, the 15, the 10. He's going to go! Touchdown! Touchdown BYU!
Today, BYU gets a chance for redemption against conference rival Colorado. This is KSL's special extended pregame coverage. Our hosts are Mitch Harper and Matt Viamonte on Utah's legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio.
Welcome back into extended pregame coverage. BYU and Colorado in the Alamo Bowl, coming to you live from San Antonio, Texas. It's hour number 2 of our extended pregame. We'll take you all the way up to 3:30 and get you ready for the broadcast of BYU and Colorado, which you can hear right here on KSL News Radio. Kickoff at 5:30 tonight here in the Alamo City. And I caught up with this week with BYU Deputy Athletic Director Brian Santiago. There's so many things going on in the BYU Athletic Department with the success in football. So much is taking place right now, and it was a great way to check in with Brian Santiago, the Deputy Athletic Director at BYU.
Here at the Alamo Bowl with Brian Santiago, Associate Athletic Director here with BYU, and how's the experience been so far here in San Antonio?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Derek Fox and the whole Alamo Bowl, the sponsors, Valero, they make sure this is like the best experience for the student athletes and the coaches, all of us that come down here. It's been unbelievable. They've rolled out the red carpet. Our players have had a blast. The coaches have had a blast. Celebrate Christmas together with our families. It's been really nice.
This is a great time right now in BYU athletics. Football, basketball, I mean, across the board, it seems like athletics are really taking off here at BYU in the Big 12.
It's an incredible time. There's a ton of positive momentum. It's really a tribute to our coaches and athletes. Our coaches are doing a great job of attracting all the right people to BYU. But, you know, when you feel the momentum, it's nice. We're embracing it. We're trying to do things the right way. We're in a whole new world of college athletics, and we're just trying to make sure that we do things in a way that'll represent this university the right way.
How much does the Big 12 really help the visibility? I mean, this bowl game, we've been to bowl games in the past, and this is a little bit higher tier, obviously. Just maybe the Big 12 platform, what it's done for BYU to kind of amplify the brand and get into homes that maybe BYU never did before.
It's actually game-changing. The Big 12 has been game-changing on a number of fronts, mostly in recruiting. For a couple of years there were a lot of great athletes, male and female, that had reached out and basically told our coaches, LDS and non-LDS athletes, that had told our coaches that they weren't going to come to BYU in multiple sports because we weren't in a Power 5 conference. So getting an opportunity and getting an invitation like we did from the Big 12 to come in, always feeling like once we did, we could compete right at the top of the Big 12 across the board. It's been game changing. A lot of those athletes that had told coaches that when we got the invitation to the Big 12 called back and said, all right, let's talk. So it's been amazing. Now we're seeing some of those athletes and some of their programs. The coaches have done a great job attracting the right talent, but across the board, it's been super fun to compete right at the top of the Big 12.
How's the alignment in BYU, just with President Reese and with you and Tom Homo and then the coaches? Are you guys all in lockstep, just moving in the same direction, chasing championships in this league? Like, just maybe the alignment of where the athletic department is right now with the school?
I think it all starts with President Reese. If you've been around him, he's a great leader, super positive, and the alignment's there. You know, we trust him, and everything we do is together. And so it's been super refreshing to be able to follow that lead. I think Tom is one of the great humans in all of college sports. I don't think they get any better. I think people know and respect him, but to work alongside him as long as we have, you realize you're really dealing with one of the great human beings on planet Earth. And so his leadership, his mentorship, his understanding of what it's like to be in the trenches as a player, as a coach, and then to have the university alignment so that we're all working together, that's where the magic happens. And so that's been super exciting, is having such an unbelievable leader in President Reese, having Tom, who's left an incredible legacy at this school, and then these coaches. I mean, that's what it's really about. You get the right coaches in place, all the magic starts happening.
With that alignment, is BYU ready for the upcoming revenue sharing era, you feel?
We have to be. If we want to stay in the game, we got to do things the right way. We have to make sure. I saw a note the other day that says we have one of the great entrepreneurial DNAs in all of college sports. We have an unbelievable alumni base. Cougar Nation is unmatched. And it's amazing how generous people have been in wanting us to stay competitive. But we can't lose track of who we are. That's the magic of this. We're unique. The university, it's part of our mission. We can't lose track of who we are. We got to make sure that we stay aligned, do things the right way, keep things in check. But you have to be in the game. You have to be in the game if you want to be relevant. And we've always felt like our charge is to be excellent, to do it the right way, to be nationally relevant. Because if we're nationally relevant and we do it the right way, people are going to want to know who we are, and that's super important.
How much are you enjoying, because you've been around BYU athletics now for, was it 2003, I think, when you were on Coach Cleve's staff?
27 years.
27 years. And you've seen this, 27 years, you go back to the WAC, 16-team WAC, and you've seen this thing grow over time. Just how fun is it to see where BYU is now competing on stages that guys like Lavelle and Coach Cleve back in the day were dreaming of?
Well, and I'm always grateful to Coach Cleve because he's the one that gave me an opportunity to get into college athletics back in 1997, and that was a great experience. But to see how it's all evolved, you just mentioned Lavelle Edwards, who is one of my very favorite people that ever lived. He was my neighbor. The Edwards are close friends of ours. To be mentored by him when I got to BYU, I was super close to him. I was his bishop when he passed away, so I'm super close with Patty. But he's one of as we travel the country still to this day, we don't go anywhere that people don't talk about Lavelle Edwards. So Tom and I have always felt like we stand on the shoulders of some giants, some great people in this business that have helped us and opened doors for us. But you see it evolve. I've always felt like Cougar Nation is just dying for us to be at the top of the mountain, and the Big 12 has opened some doors for us. Some of these coaches that we have, starting with Kalani, people don't understand what a great dude this is and what a great leader he is. He's got an unbelievable way about him. You just saw Coach Prime give him big time kudos because he's just such a good dude. But that's part of the great culture we have in BYU football. We said before this year we're going to be way better than people think. And it's because of the culture he's built, and they've recruited some great players, and they feel like we're just going to keep getting better. But it's so stinking exciting for Cougar Nation to see all these sports come to fruition, to compete in the highest level. A couple of bounces, and we might, who knows, we might have been in the college football playoff, and people didn't even think we'd win any games this year, right? So there's so much good positive momentum, so exciting for our fan base, but really exciting for our university. And like I said, it starts and stops with President Reese.
A few more questions real quick. You mentioned Kalani. In your role with the athletic department, were you involved with that extension at all? Was that solely Tom? And because I know you're more maybe closely with basketball, but were you involved in that too?
We're all involved in it. We handle a lot of the business privately in our athletic department. We all work together, make sure that we're all aligned. You talked about alignment. We're all involved up the ladder. Tom and I are involved, and we work together closely on those things. We've always felt like we need to handle our business in private, do things the right way, but our number one focus is to make sure we have the right coaches leading these teams, because when you have the right coaches in place, everything else works. And our excitement, enthusiasm about having the continuity with Kalani leading the program, certainly with Kevin Young coming on board, there's a lot of enthusiasm about the future. And then you start down the line with a lot of our Olympic coaches that we think are the best in the business. The future's real bright for BYU athletics.
Yeah, I wanted to follow up because with your background in basketball, your early impressions of Kevin Young and just what it took to get him on board and how it's going so far, and is it better than expected thus far?
A-plus guy, A-plus coach. That's what I say to everybody when they ask me about KY. He's just the best in the business and has been so good, such a good fit. Obviously, there's a lot of excitement and a lot of chatter about what's going on in BYU. All my people around the country, everywhere we go, are just like, man, we've never heard so many people talking about BYU. That's a great thing. We want positive comments, positive views of BYU. But he's just an A-plus guy. He's a great leader. He's surrounded himself with great people. Certainly he's got credibility. He's got a lot of credibility out there in the basketball circles. That's why you're seeing all these great players want to come here. But, I always say that guys don't show up here by chance. You got Yegor coming from Russia by way of Real Madrid. I mean, that doesn't happen by chance. He's another one of the greatest kids you'll ever be around. Obviously a great player. He's got a great future ahead of him, but spend an hour with Yegor, Demon, and you start realizing what's happening with BYU basketball.
Thanks for the time, Brian.
Happy to do it.
Appreciate it.
Good stuff from Brian Santiago and Mitch Harper. Let's take a break. On the other side, we'll keep breaking down this monumental game, BYU and Colorado, in terms of a chance to get to 11 wins, and we'll also hand out some 2024 Cougar Sports Saturday season awards. Back after this.
The KSL News Radio app will update you on breaking stories.
A house explosion this afternoon.
And you'll get exclusive audio streams from local events, breaking news, and sports.
Cougars feel like they can overcome anything.
All of your favorite KSL hosts are there too, so you can listen anytime. Plus traffic and weather. Download it today. The app for KSL News Radio.
Hey, Steve, one of the greatest things about NPS is that you can go multiple times in the same week and find different stuff every time.
Here's what's annoying. When I go back to my regular grocery store, I almost scoff at the ridiculous prices I'm paying there as opposed to if I had gone to NPS to buy the same darn thing.
They can be restocking shelves as you're shopping there. In fact, they brought out a whole bunch of sodas last time my wife and I were there, and we ended up with a bunch of sodas that we weren't going to purchase and that we wouldn't have purchased if we hadn't been there right as they brought them out. So anytime you go in, you can find an amazing deal, and they've got 4 locations. So if you're in Davis County, you can check out the Layton store, which is gorgeous, at 1150 North Main in Layton. You can go in Utah County at 475 North State Street, and then the ones in Salt Lake, there's an industrial side and a retail and grocery side that are right across the street from each other at 1600 South Empire Road. Christmas is a great time to get gifts. Let NPS help you with that.
At great prices.
NPS, we like to call it the nicest place to save.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call.
If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Lowe's knows how to help you save time and money, no matter the job. That's why we can deliver supplies to your job site as soon as same day, so you have more time to get the job done. Because when you need it fast, we've got you covered. Lowe's knows pros. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
We have some exciting news to announce.
Master Electrical Service has joined Mountain Home Services.
And I can speak from experience, Deb. Mountain Home Services installed my furnace years ago, and it's been amazing.
And we know Master Electrical Service has been your trusted source for all your electrical needs, like your EV chargers, your generators, and recessed lighting.
But now that they've joined Mountain Home Services, they can help you with your HVAC. You know, your heating and air, as well as your plumbing.
And it comes with that upfront pricing guarantee. I love the upfront pricing guarantee because it means no hidden fees.
100% satisfaction guarantee as well.
Master Electrical Service has been the name you trust since 1954.
They're the company we trust, and so can you.
Check them out now at mountainhomeutah.com.
That's mountainhomeutah.com, or give them a call at 801-543-2222. So easy to remember, 801-543-2222.
KSL pregame scoreboard update.
Well, Boston College got an offensive touchdown and then a blocked punt that led to another touchdown to make a game out of the Pinstripe Bowl. However, they were unable to stop Nebraska on fourth down, and Nebraska walks off with their first bowl game win since 2015 as they take out Boston College 20-15. That game just went final. TCU's back in the red zone again. Taking it to Louisiana right now. It's 17-0. New Mexico Bowl is that one. Earlier in the Fenway Bowl, North Carolina dropped their contest to UConn, and that one was 27-14. Iowa State and Miami coming up in the Pop-Tarts Bowl in just about 10 minutes from now. And then, of course, BYU, Colorado tonight. That's going to be 5:30. And we're all looking forward to that Alamo Bowl game tonight. I'm with your KSL bowl game scoreboard update. I'm Jason Jones. Now back to Matt and Mitch for extended BYU pregame coverage.
BYU, Colorado. Special extended pregame coverage on KSL News Radio.
Hearing from Jason Jones that scoreboard update of Nebraska winning their first bowl game since 2015, it instantly made me think of BYU's win over that 2015 Nebraska team. Crazy to think a historic program like Nebraska has not won a bowl game until today for 9 years. These bowl game wins are precious. Colorado today is looking for their first bowl victory in 20 years. In that same time frame since 2004, BYU has won 10 bowl games. So, sometimes we can take for granted, Matt, the value of ending a season with a bowl victory, and BYU's got a chance to win a big one tonight against the Buffs.
That's a good point, is how much that drives you. Though, you could argue, too, last year's team missing out on a bowl game was was a very motivating factor to the
No question.
type of year they had this year. So it's not always win a bowl game and that just pans out to be a springboard to the next season. But in this case, I do think there is an opportunity because of the way that this year went. It's a double-digit win year. You get to 11. You don't get to 11 all that often. But what I like about this potential springboard is you got all those practices. Now, go into next year with a returning quarterback, a senior quarterback. You bring back your running backs. A lot of them, you could bring back nearly the entire receiving room. Offensive line, there's going to be some new faces. We already talked about Andrew Gentry and his addition. So, and he's not the only transfer portal addition on the offensive line. So that's going to be a work in progress. There's some new tight ends. You get Carson Ryan from Utah, but there's a lot of returning guys. So if you have the payoff of an 11-win year capped off with a big bowl win, maybe that could propel you to just continue to build on what you started here in 2024.
Standing in BYU's way to get that bowl win today is the star power of Colorado. Travis Hunter and quarterback Shedeur Sanders are top of mind. And, I think Colorado's a polarizing team, Matt. I think a lot of people that maybe don't follow the Buffs much, they just seem to not like them. I don't know why. I'll admit, hearing Coach Prime and hearing Shedeur Sanders, I've always kind of been fascinated by Coach Prime and the way he's running his program. I mean, I said on this show a year ago that I thought they'd be a playoff team in 2024. Not quite, but it wasn't so far-fetched the way that they played this season. But I kind of gained a little bit more respect even for the Buffs this week because Prime and his son, Shedeur Sanders, very complimentary of BYU. And Shedeur Sanders talked about how BYU's defense is going to be a real challenge for him in this Buffs offense.
It covers, but that's just what it is. But watching film on them, watching it is just it's hard, very hard to find a tail, very hard to find a flaw when it comes to them because the way they go about their business, the way they get in their stunts, the way they're able to move and react different ways, and you don't know who's doing what, so they got a great scheme, they got a great everything, and I'm very blessed for my final collegiate game to go against that type of challenge.
Shedeur is a dang good football player, and I think he's going to be easily a top 10 NFL draft pick, probably even higher than that. He's got a chance to be the number 1 draft pick, depending on how things go. If you look at his stats this year, they're outstanding. We already heard Jay Hill talk about his completion percentage, 74%. He's thrown for almost 4,000 yards. He'll surely eclipse that number tonight. 35 touchdowns, 8 picks. He's been pretty clean, but he does put some balls into harm's way. And for BYU's defense, it's been very opportunistic. That's going to be a key. Disguising the coverages like Shedeur just told us. If they can pick off 1 or 2 passes from Shedeur, I think that is a critical component to this game because Colorado can score. And even if they have empty possessions or turnovers, they can still come back and get you. They have explosive playmakers, including the Heisman Trophy winner, Travis Hunter. The question is, with those moments where Shedeur puts the ball into harm's way, can you take advantage of that, Mitch?
That's a great point. And Colorado, 10th nationally in most sacks allowed per game this season, 3.5 sacks allowed per game. So teams are still getting to Shedeur Sanders. He might not throw the picks, but he takes on a lot of hits. And BYU's defensive line, this could be a big opportunity to maybe inflate that sack number this season, which at season's end is still kind of light in the bottom 10 nationally in total sacks. But I think all of us that watch BYU feel like that defense got better and they generated more havoc. Now just kind of finish the job and get home. I think there's going to be some opportunities for BYU to get to Shedeur Sanders. So I'm curious to see the way that Jay Hill attacks the Colorado offense scheme-wise. Should be a real fascinating matchup because BYU's secondary, too, and defense, they've generated at least 1 interception in every game this season. We're taking a break. More BYU Colorado extended pregame coverage from San Antonio next here on KSL News Radio.
Don't be worried. Be ready.
KSL News Radio has partnered with Be Ready Utah to provide the plans your family needs for an emergency, the tools and supplies to keep on hand, and the knowledge on how to keep a cool head.
It's Be Ready Utah. Listen to our show. Dave and Duchanovic for Be Ready tips and tools.
Or you can always find the latest preparation info at BeReadyUtah.gov.
Be Ready Utah with KSL News Radio.
Rescue, redemption, recovery, re-entry. That's what happens at the rescue mission of Salt Lake City.
My name's India.
My name is Kelly.
So I was a heroin addict.
I was living in my car.
Then I decided it was time that I got help.
You don't know what to expect.
The rescue mission of Salt Lake does not accept any federal, state, or city funding. Everything is wholly supported through your generous tax-deductible contributions, along with donations of our friends and supporters.
You have a bed, you have a shower. We get everything that we need.
87% of every dollar goes to the rescue mission services. The other 13%, hard costs to run the mission building itself.
Like I have that hope now.
Thank goodness.
From the recovery program to a place to lay your head at night, and meals served every morning, afternoon, and evening all year long, as well as food boxes for families in need. The rescue mission needs our help.
Like a new life, that newfound hope.
That's what I'm grateful for.
Find out how at rescuesaltlake.org.
Hi friends, Dan the Laptop Man here from PC Laptops. In celebration of over 32 years of serving humans in Utah with their computer and tech needs, we've slashed our prices. And these are the new 2025 models. Here's the deal. You can get our new 2025 S1 desktop with a blazing Ryzen 5 processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing fast storage on this promotion. We also have our new 2025 SM3 laptop with the Intel i5 processor, 16 gigs, and over a terabyte of storage for $999. You can take one home today for $999. And you also get the peace of mind of our lifetime service warranty. We also have 12 months special financing available, and they start as low as $29 a month. But hurry in because supplies are limited. Because at PC Laptops, we love you. PCLaptops.com. Take home a blazing fast 2025 model desktop or laptop for $999 at PCLaptops.com.
We hope you have the right app on your phone for news. You probably have dozens.
But the KSL News Radio app, well, it makes our live stream super easy.
Plus, our talk shows are right there as podcast for your workday.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
It's not a college football playoff game, but today's Alamo Bowl is a chance to end BYU's season right.
Jake turns and gives to Sione Moa. Moa running hard, 15 and 12-yard line for Sione Moa.
The Cougars take on Big 12 rival Colorado, and a chance for the Cougars to win game number 11. This is KSL's special extended pregame coverage. BYU, Colorado, on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back in. Extended pregame. The Cougars and the Buffaloes. A top 25 battle taking place tonight. Kickoff is at 5:30 p.m. Pregame, 3:30 p.m. All of it heard right here on KSL News Radio, but you're joining us currently for extended pregame coverage. So this is a day and a night full of BYU football to cap off a 2024 season, which has been a good one, and a chance to get to 11 wins and potentially springboard to 2025. Mitch, when are you taking off to the Alamo Dome?
I will be leaving here for the Alamo Dome coming up about the top of the hour. I'll head over. I'll stay on the air.
Yes,
I will be still on the air. I'll go Kirk Herbstreit style, and in what's the air service that he get air, or what do they call that plane service for college
Wheels
game
up,
day?
Wheels up.
Wheels up. That's what it is. I won't be in the air, but I'll be on a media shuttle heading over to the Alamo Dome. The stadium opens around 2:45 p.m. Mountain Time. So I got to get ready, get in place, because you know me, Matt.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just one of those sickos that has to be there.
I'm
like
that way too.
The first person in the stadium. I always kind of laugh at when my wife is like, "We got to get to our kids' basketball game first and get a seat." And I'm like, "Come on, like, what are we doing here?" But I'm the same way when it comes to these BYU sporting events. I feel like I got to get there first, get settled in, and beat the rush. And there's going to be a lot of fan activities. It's kind of crazy. Earlier in the show, I was talking about how, the fan attendance for BYU and the bowl week activities was pretty light. The pep rally 2 days ago, I would say a rough estimate was probably 65-35 Colorado fans. But I'll tell you, I'm looking out my window right now at my hotel right above the Riverwalk, and I'm going to say there is a lot of Royal Blue walking on the street level, and there's a BYU tailgate party just to my left here. I believe it's the BYU alumni tailgate for fans. A lot of Cougar fans. So, again, that wild card of BYU fans showing up on game day, the locals in the state of Texas arriving on the day of the game, that might be showing up, and we might see more BYU fans than we think. So, I'm a little more optimistic there's going to be more Royal Blue in those stands than I thought there'd be earlier in the week.
Well, it'll be fun to have you on with us as you get into the Alamo Dome and give us live updates from inside of what the fan reaction will be like. But first, Mitch, it's time to roll out the top 5.
The Cougar Sports Saturday Top 5. Top 5. Mitch and Matt clash in a weekly battle of BYU sports knowledge. Here's the Top 5.
The Cougars are battling on the football field against the Buffaloes, and Cougar Sports Saturday is battling right here and right now. We do this every single week we're on the air. Our producer, Nate Slack, he comes with a list. Could be a factual list, could be a preferential list. And myself and Mitch, we put away our electronic devices and we used just our life experience and knowledge to try and get 3 correct answers and be the winner of that week's top 5. And with that being said, happy bowl week to you. Nate Slack, how are you feeling about this matchup?
I'm excited for it. I really am. I think bowl games are kind of tough because you look forward to football season for so long, like 9 months until the next game, and it feels like it ends so fast.
Yeah.
So it's a bummer that it ends tonight, but I'm really excited for the game. I'm really excited for the matchup. I'm really excited to see how BYU plays against Travis Hunter, and that's what we're going to go with today's top 5. It's not very often that BYU's played a Heisman finalist, better yet, a Heisman winner. So today's top 5 is going to be the last 5 times that BYU played against a Heisman finalist.
Wow. That's going to be tricky.
Okay.
So it's a little tough, but name and
finalist
year.
as in they went to New York City.
They went to New York City. Yep. So top 3. So top 3 finalists, Heisman finalists.
Top 3? I thought sometimes weren't there 4?
I don't know. The NCAA list I was looking at.
There's some years where there'll be 4, but typically 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So the list I looked at was from the NCAA, and it just showed all the finalists. So I've got the last 5 times that BYU played a finalist in that season. So you have to give me the name and the year that they played them.
Oh, my goodness. This is going to be a challenge.
There's some names that are pretty notable, and I think you guys get those quick, but there are 2 other names that I think might take a little while. But
all right.
Let's get to it. So we're going to be starting out with Mitch today.
Let's go with Reggie Bush in 2004.
So this is a tricky one because he wasn't a finalist in 2004. He did win it in 2005, but when in the season that BYU played Reggie Bush, he was never a finalist.
Very interesting. I mean, he looked like a finalist, and he was scampering up the BYU sideline in 2004.
Yes, he did.
All right, let's go with I'm off to a bad start because I'm not even – there's easy ones here?
I would say there's 2 easy ones. 3 easy ones.
3 easy ones?
Mm-hmm. So get those really quick because the last 2 are a little tougher.
Let's try this is not one of the easy ones, and I don't know why I'm struggling with the easy ones. Let's go let's try 2008. Jake Locker.
Nice.
How about Matt Leinart, 2004?
Yeah, Matt Leinart, 2004. He won the Heisman in 2004. BYU lost the game 42-10 in Provo, but Leinart finished 22 of 34 for 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception in that game.
Yeah, he was I mean, that's one of the best college football teams I've ever witnessed in person, seeing USC and that firepower. BYU was hanging close. I remember that first half. I think it was 10-7, and then Reggie Bush popped off a big run, and Matt Leinart and crew just took over. It's kind of cool to think that BYU played USC at their kind of zenith as a program with Pete Carroll. That was fun to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mitch, you get a chance to steal.
Let's go with Alex Smith, 2004. Wow.
I think he was just outside the top 3. The site showed the top 3, so he may have been a finalist, but I think he was outside of the top 3.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure he was in New York City, but okay,
yeah.
Nonetheless.
2005, Brady Quinn.
No Brady Quinn.
I think he was. I think he was 2006 or maybe 7. I think he was a finalist.
Gotcha.
How about Chris Winkie 2000, Florida State?
Yeah, nice. Chris Winkie, Florida State 2000. BYU lost 3-29. Chris Winkie was 32 of 50 for 318 yards and 2 touchdowns. The only thing that I remember about Chris Winkie is playing Madden in like 2004, because I love to play as the Carolina Panthers because of their uniform combos. But as far as the game, I don't remember much about that game.
He was the cover athlete on NCAA Football 2002, and I'm just hopefully I'm not foreshadowing what transpires when BYU faces Heisman Trophy winners tonight. Goodness gracious, these have been 2 bad outings. But yeah, that 2000 opener was the Pigskin Classic in Jacksonville, Lavelle's last season, and Chris Winkie. I think they were the defending national champs. Florida State was, and they had Peter Warwick and. Gosh, that team was loaded. I bet Kalani can even tell some stories about that crew. And I think Kalani has said that Florida State team was the best team he faced. I'd have to double check on that, but yeah, Kalani was on that team, and BYU was just overmatched. I mean, that was when Florida State was Florida State. This whole Mike Norvell undefeated, yeah, that's cute, that's nice, solid, great, but Florida State with Bowden when they were in their heyday, BYU faced that, and they were a juggernaut at that time. And Chris Winkie was I think he was like a 28-year-old guy, too, at QB. Because I think he had a professional baseball career, kind of like Joel Klatt. And, yeah, so there you go. That's Chris Winkie for you.
All right, 2-0 lead for Mitch. Matt's got to stay alive right here.
I need to stay alive. And if this particular one is on the list, I'm completely outclassed, and I'm put a fork in me. 2022 Bo Nix. Oh, put a fork in me.
How about 2010 Colin Kaepernick?
No, good guess. Good guess. It's funny because I mentioned 3 easy ones, and you guys have only hit one of those so far. So I think there's 2 other that are you guys will hear the names and be like, oh, I knew that.
Really?
Yeah.
Give us a hint. Give Matt a hint.
One play, Bronco coached against this guy. So it was during the Bronco era, on the road.
Okay.
During the Bronco era, on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I know that this is wrong, but this is all I can come up with. 2009 Sam Bradford, but he was hurt that whole year. So
right.
On the road, Bronco. This is a famous name in BYU recruiting history too.
Yep.
Manti Te'o.
Ah, yes.
Manti Te'o, 2012 came in second in the Heisman race. BYU lost 17-14. Famously, Riley Nelson missing Cody Hoffman downfield.
That's one of the worst
Riley,
missed
if you're listening to this, we're not trying to bring up old wounds.
But it's one of the worst missed passes in the history of BYU football.
Yeah.
Manti Te'o did finish with 10 tackles and an interception in that game. So another good showing by Heisman finalist. But, man, what could have been?
Oh, what if? Gosh, these games against Heisman finalists or winners, not great, are they? What's the rest of the list, Nate, or should we try to guess it?
Yeah, you guys can guess it. I think I'll give you number 5. You're not going to get number 5. You know what?
Well, hold on.
Let's guess it. Let's guess it. 1991 is number 5. Desmond Howard won it. Third place was Ty Detmer. Second place is the guy that BYU played.
1991, then that would probably be. Was that Charlie Ward?
No.
Was that Penn State player?
Florida State.
It's a Florida State player.
Who was it?
Casey Weldon.
Oh, yeah, Casey Weldon.
Never would have got that.
No,
he had a legit visor. Okay.
What was the other easy one? Yeah.
Number 4. This is an old WAC game. BYU lost 38-45. So, quick side note.
What year?
1992. He came in second in the Heisman.
Oh. 1992. Is this Fresno State?
No, he had 299 yards.
Oh, Marshall Falk.
Oh, yeah, Marshall Falk.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So BYU's 0-5 in these games on the top 5, by the way. I'm just going to
Well, that's not promising,
No,
Nate.
not at all. But it's kind of like the broadcaster's jinx, right? I say it, and then I will it into the future that BYU's going to win tonight.
Yikes. 0-5.
Yeah.
And what was it, the BYU SDSU game in 92 that was the closest of them?
No, the Notre Dame game, 14-17.
Yeah.
I guess 0-6 if you're taking into account the Alex Smith game in 04 too against Utah.
Oh my goodness! Can we find a win against a Heisman finalist?
Oh man, I have to go back into the archives.
That would be. It's going to be interesting to see going forward if BYU will face more Heisman finalists by being a power conference team. Will the Big 12 create enough buzz and interest to keep delivering Heisman finalists? I hope so, because I think this league's got some really good teams and good talent. But is it only going to be Colorado type teams that have all the media attention and excitement? And understand too, Travis Hunter was the #1 recruit in the country,
right?
And so he had the buzz when he was arriving, even at an HBCU at Jackson State. So
he had the buzz in high school. Remember Keelan Marion saying we knew who Travis Hunter was down in Georgia. So
yeah,
he's had the buzz from when he was a kid, basically.
Yes, so I'm excited if it takes just some out of this world prospect to get a Heisman winner, or is it going to be tough to create a Heisman finalist? It's few and far between, but I hope maybe BYU can change the outcome and get that coveted win. Because I'm thinking about other Heisman either winners or finalists that BYU's faced. Herschel Walker, 1982. They faced him in Georgia between the hedges, and Steve Young, I think, threw for 6 picks in that game.
Oh, boy. Yep.
And they lost that one. I believe it was 10-7. That was a close one against Georgia, who was the defending national champs. So BYU against Heisman finalists or winners is not great, but, hey, they can change that storyline today by getting a victory here in San Antonio for the Alamo Bowl. I really like that list, though, Nate. That's good stuff.
Are you worried, speaking of this year's Heisman finalist, are you more worried about him on offense or defense?
Defense, just because I think he's elite as a cornerback. A wide receiver, he's exceptional too. I mean, he's incredible there, but I think he is the best cornerback in college football, hands down. And you're going to be very lucky to get anything on him. And that's where if Chase Roberts has any sort of production, assuming Chase gets lined up against Travis, that you kind of wonder what that stat line is going to look like, because he is an absolute lockdown corner, and I feel like NFL teams are going to force him to be just a cornerback and not do the two-way thing. But they got to let him. I mean, what makes him so special is doing the two-way stuff, and maybe you don't do every play in the NFL, but I'm excited to see a player that's going to be on the field every single snap. I mean, that's just unheard of stuff at this level of college football, and I can't wait to see it in person, because I always feel like seeing guys in person that are these elite talents is so different than just watching them on TV. I think you get a new appreciation when you see them in person. So I can't wait to see Travis Hunter tonight. I think that's one other element that makes it so exciting this evening.
All right. Congrats, Mitch, on the win. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Nate. All right, let's take a break. More extended pregame coming your way. And a quick update. I don't want to step over Jason Jones here, but Iowa State and Miami tied up at 7 in the bowl game. I would have loved to have attended the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Best trophy, I think, of the bowl season, an actual working toaster. But we'll keep tabs on that and a lot more as we get closer to BYU and Colorado.
A new presidential cabinet is coming together, and Utah's legislative session is just weeks away. Stories are breaking in Utah and in the nation's capital. Keep up with Tim and Amanda each morning between 5 and 9. Then Dave and Dejanovic at 9 and Inside Sources at 1. And Jeff Kaplan on the drive home from 3 to 7. Frequent breaking updates in the car on KSL News Radio.
Old Spice Swagger Holiday Pack, perfect for a gift to treat yourself. 24/7 holiday freshness with daily use can smell your bestest. I'm gonna be smelling great all season. Old Spice scents just can't be beaten. Chock full of value, saving that green. Got the essentials needed to feel clean. Deodorant, hair, body wash, and spray. Celebrate your holiday the Old Spice way. Ho 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 ho.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, Susan. We haven't seen or heard from you.
Cold.
We would like to locate Joyce.
The mysteries that made podcast history
Cherie Warren disappeared.
are now together for free at KSLPodcasts.com.
I'm Dave Cawley, the host of Cold. Join me for Season 1, The Susan Powell Case Files, Season 2, Justice for Joyce, and Season 3, The Search for Cherie. Listen anytime for free at KSLPodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Lowe's knows how to help you save time and money, no matter the job. That's why we can deliver supplies to your job site as soon as same day, so you have more time to get the job done. Because when you need it fast, we've got you covered. Lowe's knows pros. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
This holiday season, Capital One reminds you to give yourself the gift of 1.5% cash back with the Capital One Quicksilver Card.
Can I earn 1.5% cash back on birds?
Birds?
What if you sent your true love 2 turtle doves plus a partridge in a pear tree?
Sure, but why would anyone want that?
The song was very convincing.
Earn 1.5% cash back on all your holiday purchases with the Capital One Quicksilver Card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
KSL pregame scoreboard update.
You know, Matt and Mitch, they put Pop-Tarts in that trophy in the pregame show, and the trophy shot the Pop-Tarts out onto the floor. So you got to be careful with that one, I'm thinking. In the Pop-Tarts Bowl itself, it is 7-7, Miami against Iowa State. Miami turned the ball over on their first play from scrimmage. Iowa State scored a touchdown after that. And on their second play from scrimmage, Miami had a 75-yard touchdown run by Damian Martinez. 10 minutes to go in the first quarter, and it's 7-7. TCU woodshedding Louisiana currently in the New Mexico Bowl. It's 27-0 at halftime. Earlier, North Carolina dropped to the Fenway Bowl to UConn 27-14, and it was Nebraska 20-15 over Boston College. That was in the Pinstripe Bowl. With your KSL Bowl game scoreboard update, I'm Jason Jones. Now back to Matt and Mitch for extended BYU pregame coverage.
BYU, Colorado. Special extended pregame coverage on KSL News Radio.
Into extended pregame coverage, Mitch Harper, Matt Baiamonte with you. We hold it down every single Saturday here on KSL News Radio with Cougar Sports Saturday, noon to 3. We also host Cougar Nation as well, where we take your phone calls on Monday nights, 6 to 7 in the evening. We'll return, not this Monday, but the week after as we get ready for BYU basketball season with Big 12 play tipping off this week against Arizona State, and then we'll get into the heart of Big 12 play with Cougar Nation taking your phone calls. So much. We do a lot here talking BYU sports here on KSL News Radio, and this is a big-time game, BYU and Colorado in the Alamo Bowl. And real quick, Matt, I wanted to bring this up to you. How many times, this is a conference matchup, Big 12 versus Big 12, which is very unique. This doesn't happen very often in the bowl season. Do you know how many times has this happened since 1978, which was when FBS and FCS split together? How many times has this happened where it's the same conference opponents facing off in a bowl game? Do you know?
I don't know, but my guess would be this is the first time.
It's actually the third time.
Oh.
I would have thought it would have been the first time, but it's actually happened 2 previous times. 1979 Orange Bowl, Nebraska versus Oklahoma. 2015 Arizona Bowl, Colorado State versus Nevada. And 2024 Alamo Bowl, BYU versus Colorado. So doesn't happen often. Hopefully it's the last time this happens. It only happened this way because the Alamo Bowl still has ties to the Pac-12, which Colorado fills that spot as a legacy Pac-12 team, and then BYU being the Big 12 team. But very kind of weird, quirky thing, but BYU seems to always be in those kind of quirky spots. They played a game in 72 hours notice. They play a same conference bowl game. They played a bowl game against their rival in the Vegas Bowl. BYU always plays in these kind of quirky bowl setups or weird games, and hey, they're always up for the challenge and the opportunity to take on the best teams possible, and that's what's in front of them tonight as they take on Colorado at 5:30 kick here on KSL.
This being the final game of the year, Mitch, it felt fitting to look back on a memorable 2024 season and hand out some meaningless awards. We're not giving out any trophies, and no one's going to care at the end of the day if they win this, but we'll do it anyways. Well, let's just do three team centered awards. The most valuable player on this year's football team, the most improved player on this year's team, and the newcomer of the year. Let's start off with MVP. Mitch, who do you got?
I got Jacob Robinson. I've been really impressed with J-Rob. I just feel like he's been a model of consistency every single week. And I know he wasn't a first-team All-Big 12 guy, and that's tough to do in a league that's got Travis Hunter at cornerback. But Jacob Robinson has been an elite cornerback for BYU. Can't say enough good things about him. He's just a playmaker. Can't wait to see him tonight potentially match up against the wide receiver version of Travis Hunter. Going to be a lot of fun. He stepped into that nickel spot when Micah Harper got banged up, and he's just thrived and done a great job for BYU. He does everything that BYU asks. Jacob Robinson, the MVP for BYU this season. What about you?
That's a great pick. For me, I'm staying on the defense. I'm going with someone that was named to the first team, All-Big 12, Tyler Batty. Yeah. The numbers might not suggest that, but I think that his value off the field, it was just as instrumental as it was on the field. That unfortunate locker room clip that we saw with Arizona State where they violated privacy of the locker room, I think revealed a lot about his role as a leader on the team. I personally loved that moment from him, and I think he was one of the big driving factors as to why this team far exceeded expectations. And by the way, he was good on the field too. You're not named the first team All Big 12 if you're not a good football player and your production wasn't there, but I think his value was went beyond just what he did on the field.
And he could be a hype man. Hearing him at the pep rally earlier this week, that guy got people fired up. He had that strong voice. I was pretty impressed. He was doing a nice job on the mic in the pep rally earlier this week here in San Antonio. How about most improved player, Matt? Who you got from BYU as the most improved?
I'm going with the quarterback, Jake Retzloff. Yeah. There was significant doubts amongst Cougar Nation whether or not he should have even been the starting quarterback, and he ended up being, I think, one of the better quarterbacks in the conference. Now, did not have the year that his counterpart Shedeur Sanders had, but Jake was significantly improved, nearly double-digit improvement in completion percentage. I thought he was a lot better at taking care of the football. There were still moments where there's room for improvement, but from where he was at the end of last year to where he is now, he was a big reason why this team won 10 games. So Jake Retzloff's my pick.
For me, it's Caleb Etienne, and last year at this time, Matt, I probably every show was mentioning the reference to whiff. I was mentioning how Kalani said they whiffed, and a guy that kind of at times whiffed, he'll be honest about it, was Caleb Etienne, and he got benched, and he moved to guard, and it wasn't working out, but that man stayed so determined to stay at BYU, and it worked out masterfully. TJ Wood stepped in as the O-line coach, and the way that he coached up Etienne, it just worked to the tune of Etienne was a first-team All-Big 12 offensive tackle. Are you kidding me? That's an incredible turnaround. Etienne, most improved by a mile. He was spectacular this season.
We need to make a Cougar Sports Saturday bingo card and have Mitch quoting "They whiffed, they whiffed" on the bingo. It's so funny.
That would just be seared in my memory in West Virginia, in Morgantown. They whiffed. They whiffed.
Newcomer of the year, Mitch. Who do you got?
Jack Kelly, and hopefully he comes back next season. I think it would make a lot of sense, and similar to Chase Roberts, Jack Kelly's closing speed elite. He's my newcomer of the year.
Do you think his NFL buzz cooled off a little bit, Jack Kelly?
I think so, just because the sack numbers, and I don't want to buy in completely to sacks because you just look at some of the film and his speed, it will translate to the NFL, but NIL for BYU and revenue share, why not run it back one more year and elevate that stock and become an early day two guy? And linebacker position is always tricky, too, because some teams don't they don't draft highly, the draft linebackers high. It's typically a 3rd to 4th round type position, and then you could maybe knock off another round. I mean, you're talking 5th, 6th round. Why not run it back one more year at BYU, make a lot of money, and lead BYU to unprecedented heights?
Good point. For me, it was hard not to pick Jack Kelly as well, but I'll give a shout-out and my selection to Mark Collins.
Yep.
I think he had a really nice, maybe under-the-radar season opposite of Jacob Robinson, where he had several interceptions, key plays. That SMU pick was a big one. So I thought Mark Collins was a big addition out of the portal last year, and wish he had another year because I thought he was an outstanding corner this year.
BYU AD Tom Homo coming up next here on Extended Pregame of BYU Colorado here on KSL News Radio.
People think saving money is hard, but really, it's easy. It's as simple as changing a few spending habits. For free tips on how to save the easy way, check out feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City.
I'm Dave Packer. Russia's President Vladimir Putin has apologized today after the deadly crash of an Azerbaijani Airlines jet that killed 38 people.
The Kremlin press service saying Russian President Putin called Azerbaijan President Ilham Aliyev and that he apologized for the fact that the tragic incident occurred in Russian airspace. The statement also mentions that Russian air defense was active against Ukrainian drones at the time that the plane was landing. The Ukrainians are not commenting. Putin's statements, however, do not explicitly say that Russia was responsible for the crash. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, at the Foreign Desk.
One of the last functioning hospitals in the northern part of Gaza, partially destroyed after Israeli forces forcibly evacuated patients and medical staff there. ABC's Britt Clennett is in Tel Aviv.
Medical staff say Israeli soldiers stormed the facility, forcing dozens of patients to evacuate. Some of the sick and injured are now at the Indonesian hospital, also in northern Gaza, where authorities say there is a severe lack of water, food, electricity, and medical supplies.
And today, the Israeli Prime Minister's office announced that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will undergo surgery tomorrow to remove his prostate after he was diagnosed with a urinary tract infection. Late word that a tornado has destroyed multiple homes near Hillcrest, Texas. In Florida, 3 firefighters and 12 train passengers hospitalized, minor injuries after a Brightline train collided with a Delray Beach fire truck today. Boston officials say crime is at its lowest point in decades. New crime statistics out today show homicides at their lowest points in the 1950s. Police Commissioner Michael Cox.
Our homicide rate is at 24 this year currently and appears to be the lowest since 1957 and remains by far the lowest total since the data began tracking reliability in 2007.
Why? City officials touting the establishment of violence prevention workshops for city agencies 2 years ago as one factor to help keep crime down. You're listening to ABC News.
Holidays are upon us, and you know what that means. It's a crazy, stressful time of year. That's why I want to tell you about Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers, with 7 proven forms of magnesium to target every system in your body. Don't let stress and burnout ruin your holidays. Get Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers and give your body the magnesium it craves. It's the perfect gift for yourself or a loved one this holiday season. For an exclusive offer, go to bioptimizers.com/radio and use promo code radio during checkout to save 10% and transform your health. That's bioptimizers.com/radio.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Bills piling up? Rent due? Just need some extra cash to get by? Then you need to go to getcash.com, where you can get approved for a loan of up to $10,000 in minutes. No need to search through endless loan sites. Getcash.com is one of the largest lender networks. They can help anyone get up to $10,000 regardless of their credit score. Best part? The money can be in your bank account as soon as the next day. When you need fast cash help, go to getcash.com. That's getcash.com.
Lowe's knows how to help you save time and money, no matter the job. That's why we can deliver supplies to your job site as soon as same day, so you have more time to get the job done. Because when you need it fast, we've got you covered. Lowe's knows pros. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-1728. That's 800-275-1728.
Hey, Steve, one of the greatest things about NPS is that you can go multiple times in the same week and find different stuff every time.
You know, here's what's annoying. When I go back to my regular grocery store, I almost scoff at the ridiculous prices I'm paying there as opposed to if I had gone to NPS to buy the same darn thing.
They can be restocking shelves as you're shopping there. In fact, they brought out a whole bunch of sodas last time my wife and I were there, and we ended up with a bunch of sodas that we weren't going to purchase and that we wouldn't have purchased if we hadn't been there right as they brought them out. So anytime you go in, you can find an amazing deal, and they've got 4 locations. So if you're in Davis County, you can check out the Layton store, which is gorgeous, at 1150 North Main in Layton. You can go in Utah County at 475 North State Street, and then the ones in Salt Lake, there's an industrial side and a retail and grocery side that are right across the street from each other at 1600 South Empire Road. Christmas is a great time to get gifts. Let NPS help you with that.
At great prices.
NPS, we like to call it the nicest place to save.
It's a priority for us at this station to bring you all sides of a story and to talk about the news fairly, completely.
Get all the facts and be really aware. Utah's Morning News with us, Tim and Amanda.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
BYU's magical run started. 9-0.
Retzloff under some duress will take off and run for the first down inside the 20, the 15, the 10. He's going to go! Touchdown! Touchdown, BYU!
Today, BYU gets a chance for redemption against conference rival Colorado. This is KSL's special extended pregame coverage. Our hosts are Mitch Harper and Matt Baiamonte on Utah's legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio.
Hour number 3 is off and running of extended pregame live from San Antonio, Texas. KSL News Time, 2:05 p.m. on this game day. BYU versus Colorado. Mitch Harper here in San Antonio with Matt Baiamonte at Broadcast House in Salt Lake. We're getting ready for the Cougs and the Buffs. The All Big 12 Alamo Bowl showdown kicks off at 5:30 here on KSL News Radio. And this week I caught up with BYU AD Tom Homo to get his thoughts on this Alamo Bowl game. He's got ties to Coach Prime from his days at the 49ers. Here's my conversation with BYU AD Tom Homo.
Here at the Alamo Bowl with BYU Athletic Director Tom Homo. And Tom, I think back when we're here in this environment, I think back to May, Big 12 spring business meetings, and you were very confident that BYU football was going to have a good year. When at a time when maybe outsiders thought there was no chance of that. Did this season play out the way you envisioned?
Oh, I think that they far outperformed what I thought. I knew they would be much improved, but there's so many things that can go wrong and so many things that can go right in a season. And I just, after last year and seeing how we lost some really close games against some really good teams, especially at the end of the season, to see the fight in the team at the end, and then to go through and see winter conditioning and see the change in the coaching staff and the strength staff and all of it, all the pieces that we've been working on for a couple of years started coming together. And then winter conditioning and spring ball looked really good. And, that's the proof in the pudding is the games, but the workup, all the things that happened before that the fans are never going to see, and then just listening to Kalani and his coaches and the strength staff talk about individual players that were progressing at a great clip, and then I'd go watch and see. I could see it, and so I knew they would be better, but I didn't really anticipate that they would have a chance to win 11 games.
When you're watching this season play out and they get to 10 wins, when they had that setback in November, was there this is a missed opportunity, or is there still perspective of, hey, this is a 10-win season?
I think there's a perspective. I mean, you look at college football this year, in the regular season, there was one team that was undefeated, and that was Oregon. And they had a couple close ones, especially Boise early.
Even Idaho.
Idaho was a tough one. But, I think, the more experience I have in the game, you have to put it in the process. You have to understand the process more and more. And that is that the ball bounced our way a few times, in the 10-game or 9-game win streak. and then it didn't bounce our way, in the Kansas game where the ball bounces off a head on a quick kick, and a couple other things, just in a couple plays. So I think just the process had begun. I just explained how that was, and it got us 10 wins. It's hard to be frustrated with that. Obviously, you wish that you could go all the way and win as many games as you can, but I think you have to look at it, as you say, with a perspective of, are these kids progressing? And the answer is emphatic yes.
Kalani gets a contract extension from this. It was classified as long-term. Does that take him into the 2030s? And just what was it about this season beyond wins that said this has got to be our long-term coach into the heart of our existence in the Big 12?
I think just it's what he represents. I think as you look at coaches in college football, in any sport, but in college football now, that are the leaders in a time when things are changing dramatically, I firmly believe that you need continuity and you need stability. And Kalani has been able to, through some ups and downs, get to a point where he put together a staff, coaching staff full time, and then the people around them. And there's some challenging ups and downs, and since Kalani's been here, that he's overcome. And I've watched him overcome and how he's done that. And so, like right now, we're at a spot where you want to progress and continue to develop. And I just believe that you do that with continuity and consistency. And if you look at, the days that I was a witness to, Lavelle's early days, Lavelle coached here 29 years, and he had tremendous coaches, some who were here over 20 years. And I think that excellence at that time was attributed to them understanding what it takes, looking and finding the right fit in individuals, knowing what skills to look for in combinations, strategies, systems, and all those things come easier when you're not interchanging parts all the time. Now, that being said, you have transfer portal, you have NIL, you have JC players eligibility, and people are going to have to deal with that. And I trust that Kalani and his staff, with that extension, will have time to continue to strengthen themselves.
What was the biggest challenge you think Kalani overcame when you mentioned that he overcame challenges?
I think a lot of it is just for a new coach to be a head coach. You just learn. I'm not going to get personal, but you learn things, because I was a head coach and did not. I feel, and I've said to people, I think I was a way better assistant coach than I was a head coach. It was hard for me to be a head coach. But the only way you're ever going to find out what your weaknesses are as a head coach is to be a head coach. And so I think Kalani knows in his heart of hearts the things that were challenging to him. And I know a few that I felt were challenges, and I helped him through them. But I think the most important ones are the ones that the head coach fights through himself without anybody knowing. And that makes you strong.
So just to follow up too, does this extension go into the length of the media rights with the Big 12?
It's just a good long extension.
With the does it also help benefit the assistant coaches too? Is there an extension with them involved as well?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that we, intended to work with, and that was a part of Kalani, was we want that for him and his coaches. I think that it wouldn't do any good to extend Kalani and let all the coaches go. So, that's a part of this right now, is just to make sure that we work with the coaches to keep them around. It's just like retention. It's the same thing. Continuity. I talked about this earlier. You need continuity in your coaching staff. You need continuity on your team with the players. And you need continuity in the support people around you. And, to a degree, that brings the fans in, and you hope that the fans aren't coming and going, that they're always coming. And so that's the reason why we're trying to bring it all together for, a good time.
Is the expectations now, last year it was to kind of understand and learn about the Big 12. Are the expectations now after a 10-win season to go win it next year?
for me, the expectations are to improve. And I like, you always have to, like, and when I say improve, you want to look at every player. I'm like watching these players come walking towards me, and I see each one of them, and I know which ones of these dudes, I know which one of these guys need to improve in what areas. And all right, babe, good job, babe. And so just keep on improving, keep on getting better, and keep going to work. And I think we all know that it's a life principle, that if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. I think a lot of people go, I can just get by. You're going to get worse. You're going to lose your strength, and you're going to lose your mind, and you just have to always be striving for development and precious improvement.
We've got
and then things come.
We've got the Alamo Bowl, and then the next time BYU plays a game, it's in the revenue sharing era. How is BYU ready to hit that cap of $22 million to get back to the athletes?
Well, right now it's 20.5.
20.5. Okay. Thank you.
We are like everyone else in the country. We're learning how we're going to deal with this, because there's really no cliff notes or roadmap that says this is the street to take. What we have to do right now is that we have to be able to strategize and feel that we're doing the best thing we can right now, and keep going and going. And we'll see. I think we'll make mistakes along the way with this NIL rev share, and we'll do some things great, and we'll fine tune it, and then next year we'll be better.
Will it be
better at that?
One of your Big 12 AD colleagues, Kirby Hocutt, kind of laid out that it was probably 90% football, basketball. Is that kind of where it lies? Or
we won't do that. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to put out what you're going to do. And so we have our ideas and our plans to do the best we can with what we have, and I think it'll feel good. It feels good right now for what we got.
Last couple things here for you, Tom. Your early impressions of Kevin Young and what he's done with basketball and the recruiting. I mean, the wins, Yegor, and then AJ DeBansa. That celebration at the Marriott Center was something else. And your early impressions of what Kevin Young's done with basketball.
I think Kevin has done a really good job of, first and foremost, putting together a staff and putting together a team. I mean, one of his first, and hit him right in the nose, was retention. The day he got the job, he had to hit the road running on retention, and as well as recruiting. And so far he's done a really good job of those two areas, and his leadership skills right now are, you look very good, and we're playing games, and it looks good. I mean, I feel good about where he's at, and if he continues to progress like he's shown, then we're going to have a fine team for a long time.
Do you think BYU football's got the ability to land a number one prospect like basketball did?
I think that it's possible. I think we've had some great players. I mean, I think we have 7 Hall of Fame, college Hall of Fame players, and it's the first one started in '76, I think.
With Gifford Nielsen.
Yeah. And so, I mean, those are great players. And so if we have 7 Hall of Famers, I think we can add 7 more.
Well, Tom, it's been a pleasure. And the last thing, you have a relationship with Coach Prime. Have you had the chance to interact with him? Because you coached him back in the day.
Yeah, I've had a great opportunity to chat with him a little bit. I mean, he's busy, and it's mainly in passing. But he got a team and a game to get ready for. But we have had the opportunity to just chat and hug. He's a dear friend. I love him dearly, and I really don't want to play against him because it's hard. It's weird doing that. And I've played against teammates in the past. Yeah. I mean, I coached against Lavelle Edwards.
99, and
that's something I really wouldn't have wanted to do, So, but it's it's here. We'll have a fun time.
I didn't think of that. Was that kind of? I never asked you that, but was that kind of surreal when that Cal BYU game in '99?
Yeah, I mean we're out on the field and he's looking at me. I'm going, what am I doing here? One of us doesn't belong here.
Well, Tom, pleasure talking, and enjoy the rest of the bowl weekend and the games.
Appreciate it, Mitch. Thanks.
Good stuff with Mitch Harper and BYU's athletic director, Tom Homo. All right, we still have another hour to go here on extended pregame coverage. A lot more to unpack as we get closer to kickoff between BYU and Colorado. And if you missed that interview with Tom or anyone else, we had one with Brian Santiago earlier in the show. You can find that all on our podcast feed. Taking the break, we'll keep breaking down this matchup between the Cougs and the Buffs next.
The KSL News Radio app will update you on breaking stories.
A house explosion this afternoon.
And you'll get exclusive audio streams from local events, breaking news, and sports.
Cougars feel like they can overcome anything.
All of your favorite KSL hosts are there too, so you can listen anytime. Plus traffic and weather. Download it today. The app for KSL News Radio.
The temperatures outside have dropped a bunch, and now my family and I are enjoying the benefits of our brand new windows from Advanced Window Products in a different way. During the summer, it was nice to be able to keep the cold air in. Now it's nice to see how much more efficiently we can keep warm air inside. We replaced 20 of our builder-grade windows with high-efficiency windows and a glass door to our backyard with a built-in pet door, and we have just been thrilled with the results. We're already saving on our energy bill. We're helping pay for the windows with the rebate available through Dominion Energy. Our price didn't include any middleman markups because they did the sales and the installation all in-house. My wife and I love that there's a lifetime warranty serviced by their local team, labor, glass, parts included. I promise they're going to treat you right, and you'll have an amazing experience from start to finish, just like I did. Right now is a great time to do it. Also, they're having an end-of-season sale. Save $2,500 on 10 windows or more. 801-850-9100 or advancedwindows.com.
Healthcare with human kindness is here. It's at Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Together, we have a common purpose, partnering with you in health and healing using powerful medicine, powerful technology, and the greatest power of all, human kindness. You'll know it when you see it, because human kindness is in every care site and in every caregiver. Common Spirit Health. Hello, human kindness.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
KSL pregame scoreboard update.
Well, if you like offense, you should be watching the defense's optional Pop-Tarts Bowl because it's 21-14 at the end of the first quarter. Iowa State over Miami. The over/under of this game was 56 points. They're going to have that total by half. I mean, that's just all there is to it at this point. Also, earlier, Nebraska beat Boston College 20-15. That was in the Pinstripe Bowl. It was North Carolina losing to UConn 27-14. That was in the Fenway Bowl. And TCU still up 27-0 on Louisiana. That is the Ileta, New Mexico Bowl. Coming up, of course, at 5:30 this evening, it's the Alamo Bowl, and it's BYU against Colorado. We're all looking forward to that one. With your KSL Bowl game scoreboard update, I'm Jason Jones. Now back to Matt and Mitch for extended BYU pregame coverage.
BYU, Colorado. Special extended pregame coverage on KSL News Radio.
Thanks for the update, Jason. You burst my bubble by talking down on that miraculous Pop-Tarts trophy. The fact that doesn't work, and it's sad. I was really hoping that would be something I could buy on eBay down the road to put in my home, the Pop-Tarts toaster to get my delicious Pop-Tarts made and ready. We'll have some more updates as we get closer
Mic
to
check.
BYU and Colorado, as we're about 3 hours away from kickoff. But right now, Mitch Harper, he's been down in San Antonio, and he caught up with defensive coordinator Jay Hill. Here's his conversation with the BYU DC.
All right, Coach Hill, this is BYU Colorado here at the Alamo Bowl, and just your thoughts on the team's readiness defensively, how they've approached bowl prep and getting ready for this one.
Well, I think the preparation's been outstanding. Some of our very best practices throughout the year. I think the guys are trying to send the seniors out the right way, and the seniors are very motivated for this game and this matchup. The hype that Colorado gets has been fun for us because we get to play the underdog role a little bit, but I promise you we won't treat it like that. We're going to go in there guns a-blazing, ready to go.
It's like kind of like the beginning of the season where underdog, and you guys seem to do well in that spot.
Well, we've played well in that role, but I don't know if that's really that true. I mean, we've worked our way all the way up to number 6 in the country. People know what a good team we can be, and I believe this when we're hitting on all cylinders, offense, defense, special teams, we truly are one of the best teams in the country. We just got to play that way on Saturday.
Your thoughts on got some talented seniors? It's a big bowl games are always big for the seniors. Batty, Mangelson, Nelson, Jacob Robinson, one of the best cornerbacks in the Big 12. Just what it means to try to get a win for these guys, the final game for them on the defensive side.
Well, that's huge for us. We owe it to them. These players have done nothing but buy into us as a new coaching staff coming in here 2 years ago. They gave us everything they've got. So we are fighting as a coaching staff to do everything we can to put them in positions to be successful. And then I know all the other players feel the same way about all those guys, that we want them to go out the right way. We want them to go on a high note. And against such a good opponent, this is a big game.
Good stuff with the BYU DC. Mitch, are you in the shuttle to the Alamo Dome?
Yeah, I just was on the golf cart. Got a media shuttle here to the Alamo Dome, and a few Colorado fans were envious of the ride. They said, "I'll give you Cash App to get on the." It was like a little golf cart. So I'm just rolling on the golf cart. People are thinking, "Who is that guy?" And I'm like, "I'm just a media member. There's nothing significant here."
I'm an important media member. I'm live on the air in Salt Lake City. Get me to the Alamo Dome.
Well, and that's been the thing here with the Alamo Bowl, is that they've been doing this for a long time, and the hospitality, the organization of it, it's pretty top shelf. So they make it easy for us. They just dropped me off right in front of the Gate 4 entrance here at the Alamo Dome, and about to go in and get ready for this game. So, but it was cool kind of driving up here to the stadium. There were merchandise. I don't know if they were authorized merchandise, but the little kiosk from Colorado fans selling Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, no sign of BYU gear in their pop-up merchandise sales. But a lot of Buff fans around the stadium right now with the Fan Fest right now.
What do you make of Jay Hill saying that this has been some of the best practices the defense has had this season? To me, it brought me some PTSD a little bit with the commentary leading up to the Arizona State week, where those were some of the best practices of the season, and then they came out flat. But what was your reaction to that commentary from Coach Hill?
Well, it's funny you bring that up because that was my thought too. Because I thought the exact same thing, because we heard that going into ASU. It's like, okay, they're bounced back from the loss to Kansas. This is, winner take all, go to the Big 12 title for the, ASU game. And they were a no-show in that first half. But I think that, this coaching staff's been really impressed by the young players too. And, tonight's going to be interesting at how many young new faces we do see. Crew Wakely being gone into the transfer portal. It's a big opportunity for Raider DeMooney to step in as the strong safety for BYU. Or if he's not ready, then they go to Falatau Santuala. So young players are going to make their presence felt. I still think you're going to see, those key cogs like a Tyler Batty, a Connor Pay, but there will be select spots where you'll see young players getting snaps in this game, because I think this staff does see the opportunity of really springboarding into 2025 and getting some momentum for this program. I mean, you're seeing it today, all the bowl games,
the previews or the teases to the primetime matchup between BYU and Colorado on ESPN and ABC. They're talking about it everywhere. This is the game of the day in college football, and I think BYU's got it. They sense the opportunity in front of them to go capitalize and go get this game.
Before we get to break, this is kind of a big picture question for you, but how worried are you that Jay Hill could leave BYU in the next couple years?
I think it's a fair concern, but I think at the same time, he's got a great spot at BYU where, you heard in that interview earlier with Tom Homo. I mean, there's a commitment to retain, and that's a focus to extend those guys and make sure that they have stability and they're getting those competitive salaries. And I mean, let's face it. I mean, if Kalani Sitake, I know he just got the contract extension, but if he ever did leave, Jay Hill's next in line. He's best positioned to just step in and be the guy. And that's a nice spot to be in as a DC, where you can recruit high-end talent at BYU, and you got the Big 12 affiliation. Like, there's nothing holding BYU back. Yeah, maybe they don't make as much media rights money as the SEC and Big 10 teams, but you can carve out a nice living being a DC at BYU and being right there next in line to, I don't want to say coach in waiting, but like it kind of feels that way. Like if Kalani did ever leave, like why would you not go to Jay Hill as the next man up to be the head coach? So it's a good spot to be in. And, but I do think that, this coaching carousel was so thin that there really wasn't many jobs that made sense for him. But I'm sure there would be a job in, the P4 ranks that if they come calling, like it would be hard for Jay Hill to turn down. But being at BYU is a really good place, and they value family. I mean, Kalani Sitake gives these guys a chance to be home in the evenings and spend time with their family. A lot of these programs, I mean, it's working around the clock from July until right now. So there's a little bit more balance in their lives than most programs. And I think that's something that's of value, especially for someone like Jay, who's got a family that with kids and him and his wife have a very close relationship. We saw that national feature on ESPN.com today. It's been well documented by local medias like ourselves, but like that stuff matters. And I think that BYU is a great place to really have that family life while still being a high level college football coach.
Let's take a break. On the other side, we'll hear from the other coordinator. Mitch caught up with Aaron Roderick. We'll hear that next.
You wouldn't know it, but most financial advisors are put in a box. I'm Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I want to provide you a little insight about financial advisors. Most financial advisors have to sell what their company requires them to sell, and many advisors have to only adhere to what's called a suitability standard. A suitability standard is a limited standard of care, not requiring what's sold to be best just suitable. Advisors with this loose standard often have limited investment and product selection. Trajan Wealth is held to a fiduciary standard, which is the highest standard of care in the advisory business. And that's just one of the many reasons we have billions of dollars under our care and attract clients from other advisors. Raise your standards today and call Trajan Wealth. Call 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
This year, American farmers will harvest 2.8 billion bushels of wheat and 15.1 billion bushels of corn. And to this day, American road workers have built 4.2 million miles of roads and counting. We're proud that John Deere machines rolling off the line here in the USA play a part in supporting Americans who work the land and build a better tomorrow. Nothing runs like a Deere. Learn more at johndeere.com/manufacturing.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
We've been telling you guys about how Master Electrical Services has joined Mountain Home Services, but you want to talk about one-stop shopping. Mountain Home Services has it all right now.
That's right. Not only do they do your electrical and your HVAC needs, but now let's add fireplaces to the mix.
I don't know anyone in the world that loves a fireplace, a gas fireplace like my mother. In the summer, she will fire it up. She loves it so much. And now Mountain Home Services can take care of all of this for you and pick out a beautiful fireplace for your house.
It all comes with their upfront pricing guarantee, which means there are no hidden fees and 100% satisfaction guaranteed.
And they will install. Mountain Home Services, this isn't going to be like some third party that comes into your house. You're going to get the same expertise that Mountain Home Services has always offered. Again, this is the company that we trust, and so can you.
Find them online at mountainhomeutah.com. That's mountainhomeutah.com.
Or give them a call at 801-543-2222. That's 801-543-2222.
Here's a way to get breaking news updates anywhere you go.
At the store or in a work meeting, you can get breaking news on your phone.
You can quickly read it, swipe, or click for more. It's super discreet, super fast.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
Social Security is with you through life's journey from birth to retirement. As your life changes year to year, so do your needs. For over 80 years, Social Security has helped to meet your needs and is committed to improving access to the services that make a difference in your life. Today, you can verify your earnings, estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, manage your benefits, and even change your address, all from the comfort of your home. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
It's not a college football playoff game, but today's Alamo Bowl is a chance to end BYU's season right.
Jake turns and gives to Sione Moa. Moa running hard, 15 and 12-yard line for Sione Moa.
The Cougars take on Big 12 rival Colorado, and a chance for the Cougars to win game number 11. This is KSL's special extended pregame coverage. BYU, Colorado, on KSL News Radio.
Glad to have you on board. 1 hour left of extended pregame coverage. And Mitch, are you still waiting to get in to the Alamo Dome? He might be checking in right now. So while he's checking in, we will check in ourselves with an interview he had with offensive coordinator Aaron Roderick.
Your thoughts on how this team's just prepared in the bowl preps and kind of taking advantage in their focus for this game offensively?
Okay. Well, I think we've used the bowl prep effectively in terms of getting. First of all, we gave a lot of guys who were sort of beat up in November a chance to get healthy. We were pretty beat up in the month of November. You know, we were down to a couple of those offensive lineups in those last few games were pretty thin, and we had some guys step up and play new positions. And it's given us a chance to kind of get those guys back, you know. And then the other thing I think we've done well is we've used a lot of our practice time to develop some younger players, some of whom will play a lot in this game. And then some of them, it was more just development for next season. But so that's been good. And then I think it's also just been good to get a game plan ready for CU and just rep those plays over and over and over. It feels like a full spring ball almost, how long we've been going.
What do you feel like worked so well for Jake this year? I don't know if there's time to reflect because there's still another game in front of you, but Jake's just taken a big leap forward. What do you kind of attribute the biggest characteristics to why that's happened?
Well, he's coachable. You know, he's a great competitor, and he really believes in himself. But he's coachable. You know, we can get after him and coach him hard when he makes mistakes. And I've never been one to have a, you know, I don't overreact to the mistakes he makes. I think it's all part of the process. You don't grow without it, you know. And we saw Zach Wilson go through it a few years ago, right? And went through some growing pains, and it was the third year. It was the third year.
Remember, you got a lot of emails
where he took off. I did. There was a lot of a lot of people had strong opinions about that. And the third year was the payoff. And then you look back on the process Jaron Hall went through. The way he played. When he played so well for us, that was his 4th and 5th year in the program. He'd been in the program.
Good point.
And so now we're going to be going into Jake's 3rd year. And I think that some of the mistakes he made this year are part of the process. And some of the great plays he made this year are part of sort of we need to get him there all the time. Get him playing at that level all the time. That's my job to get him there. And so we're working at it together. But I think what I love about Jake is he wants it, and he doesn't back down a bit when I coach him hard and get after him and push him. He wants that, and that's what all great players want. And so he's a really fun guy to coach.
Did we kind of underestimate on the outside the how banged up he got out of that Utah game? Because did that feel like that impacted maybe a little bit of the offensive play in the month of November?
It did. You don't want to make excuses, but in November, we weren't saying a lot about it because you don't want to put a target on it, but it was questionable whether, I look back now, it's questionable whether maybe he should have even played in the Kansas game. He was you can see plays in that game where he just couldn't run, he couldn't accelerate, and he had trouble. He had trouble driving off his back foot to deliver the ball. Played his guts out. We didn't get it done as a team in that game, so it's definitely not on him entirely at all. But that month of November, he was pretty beat up, and he's a tough, gritty guy to compete the way he did, and so we'll just keep trying to make progress.
Do you agree with him that this is the people's Big 12 champ?
Sure, yeah, I do. I'm excited. I mean, you look at these playoff games. We have the same record as some of these teams that are playing in the playoffs. And having played a tougher schedule, I think you can make a great argument that I think we would have fared very well in these playoff games. I think we would have made a good showing in any of those matchups. I really believe that. I think this is one of the best teams that's ever played at BYU, and we've already beaten 8 P4 teams this year. No one's ever come close to that in BYU history. I think I'm proud of these guys, and I think we have a really good football team, and I'm excited to play one more time against a great opponent like CU.
Good stuff, Aaron Roderick with Mitch Harper, who is now live inside the Alamo. Or are you inside now, Mitch?
I am, Matt. And this is the closest view from a press box to the field ever. Like you'll find in college football or any football game. It's so basically the lower bowl of the Alamo Dome, about 40 rows up, and then it's the press box.
Wow.
I mean, it is a pretty cool view here inside the Alamo Dome, and I'm right about, my seat is at the 42-yard line, so really cool view. BYU on the opposite sideline, Colorado the closest sideline to us in the press box, but very, very cool. There's some Colorado employees, staff, support staff on the field right now, kind of throwing the football around, but all the final touches getting in place for the Alamo Bowl tonight between BYU and Colorado.
That was interesting commentary from Aaron Roderick, specific to Jake being more banged up than anyone really knew in the month of November.
Yeah.
It feels like this has happened now a few times where Aaron and Kalani and the staff has rolled out quarterbacks that are not 100%. And on one hand, you do have to give credit to Jake. He wanted to play. He fought through the injuries. He's a tough player. I respect that. But at the same time, you got Gary Bohannon healthy. Why do you think this trend continues to happen with quarterbacks under this regime where they roll with a less than 100% quarterback in some cases?
It's a good question, Matt, because I had the same thought. I mean, in BYU was 9-0, and it felt like Jake was invincible at the time of that Kansas game. It felt like BYU could do no wrong, and that they could overcome really anything. And in retrospect, they probably should have played Gary Bohannon. I mean, we were there in that press box for BYU Kansas, and that team was not right. You can't just solely chalk it up to, hangover letdown of the Utah game. That can't be it solely. That team physically just didn't look like they were ready for that game, and Jake clearly looked off. And even in that at the end of the second quarter, he got banged up there. where it looked like, okay, we're all of us in the press box were monitoring to see if Gary Bohannon was going to be warming up in the third quarter then, because he took a massive hit late in that second quarter and they still kept going to him. I think this one, back in 2022 when Jaron Hall, played in that Notre Dame game, you can understand it because he probably head and shoulders was the best quarterback. But this year, Jake Retzloff, head and shoulders the best quarterback, yes, but Gary Bohannon was a very capable backup. And that was one of the reasons why you brought him in, because they have that insurance. And I think that was a missed opportunity, because I think Gary Bohannon could have been good enough to get BYU a win. Maybe the pooch punt still happens, who knows? But I think he could have maybe done enough to give BYU, at least 20 points to come away with that win. And we're talking about a different outcome this season if they get that win against Kansas.
Yeah, you're not sitting 40 rows up in San Antonio right now if that's the case.
That's so exactly true. And I think that, that's what BYU's got to live with. And that's where, tonight it is what it is. Like, you got to, find a way to just get this victory and, cap off the season with an 11th win. And, understand that, that Kansas game is going to live in BYU infamy, because you're going to ask yourself, what if, because what if they don't have a pooch punt? What if Gary Bohannon plays in that game? A lot of what ifs, but they got to move on and just look at this game as a chance to, cap off a special year and give the seniors one last win, but also get some momentum for 2025.
What grade would you give A-Rod this year? Do you think it was a bounce back year from him as the OC?
I think it has been a much improved year compared to last year. Last year was, one of the worst BYU offenses I think I've seen in the Kalani era. I mean, right there with 2017. And it just felt like they were, but I think that there's still room to grow. I'd put it around the B minus. I think there's still some areas where BYU can improve as far as some of their personnel, some of the predictability factors with BYU's offense. Sometimes you can feel like we're in the press box and we can see where things are going or evolving with some of these play calls. You can sense it, just us in the media. But I think that there has been positive, growth from last year, where they were probably the worst offense in the Big 12, and they've made some improvements. But November really took away a lot of the good vibes, if you will, from how this offense was playing. And that's why I look at this Alamo Bowl as just a great opportunity for BYU to really kind of rewrite the narrative of what this season will be remembered as in the history of BYU football.
And I want to see tonight, Mitch, offensively, just empty the bag. Some specials. I know there was an attempted special against Houston that went awry and turned into a turnover, but I want to see an aggressive nature. There's no reason to hold back. Sometimes I think Aaron Roderick can get a little too conservative in terms of time of possession and securing the football. I mean, it was clear as day the back half of this season that this offense was better in the 2-minute. We just saw it over and over again and again and again. Success in the 2-minute. And yet, when asked about it, he said to the media, well, we can't run the 2-minute the whole game. And my thought was, why can't you? True, you don't need to score in 90 seconds every possession, but you don't have to. I guess in 2-minute, the way that I think of it is you're not subbing, there's not personnel packages, and you're not in the huddle. It's a faster tempo. That doesn't mean you can't slow down a 2-minute situation, but that does require the same personnel packages to be on the field for multiple plays in a row without huddling and reading and checking the defense. So I that's something I want to watch carefully in this game tonight is offensively, are they doing things that plays to their strengths rather than trying to play the time of possession and turnover-free game? Because Colorado can score, man, and and you got to keep pace with that. And that's something I think this offense has to do tonight if they want to win this game.
They absolutely do. And, I think the BYU's got to be an aggressor. They cannot hold anything back. And that fits kind of the MO of what Kalani wants the offense to be. You saw it against Arizona State, that first drive of the game. They go for it on 4th down. I want to see more of that. I know that was probably a play call you can question as BYU didn't convert it, but I love the aggressive nature. And I want to see that tonight in the Alamo Bowl because Colorado, they know who they are offensively. There's no doubt about it. Where BYU, it's like they were much improved, but yet there's still this feeling of, well, how good are they? And that's why my grade is what it is for Aaron Roderick this year, kind of B-B territory, because I still feel like what I saw in November kind of left me wondering, was that just, not, was BYU who they were in November? Was that kind of more the reality of what their offense is, where they figured out, or what we saw in September and October? Think back to that UCF game. I mean, that offense was flying high, and that was the last time when Jake was full strength. And he told me, as we heard on this show today, that he's fully healthy. And I want to see that offense flying high again, because they're going to need at least 30 points to win this game. I think Colorado's still going to get theirs. BYU's defense will, I think, get some takeaways, but you're not going to, completely shut down Colorado's offense for a full 60 minutes. They're going to get some points. So you got to be able to be ready to put up some numbers in this game if you want to come away with a victory.
Let's hear from Jake. Your conversation with him next. Taking a break. BYU and Colorado extended pregame coverage. More to go right here on KSL News Radio.
A new presidential cabinet is coming together, and Utah's legislative session is just weeks away. Stories are breaking in Utah and in the nation's capital. Keep up with Tim and Amanda each morning between 5 and 9. Then Dave and Dejanovic at 9 and Inside Sources at 1. And Jeff Kaplan on the drive home from 3 to 7. Frequent breaking updates in the car on KSL News Radio.
Find peace this holiday season at Conservation Garden Park, a serene 8-acre haven in West Jordan. Winter hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Admission is always free. Learn more at conservationgardenpark.org. That's conservationgardenpark.org.
It's the year-end event at Jerry Seiner Kia, South Jordan. We have over 170 new Kia models priced under $30,000 during the Kia Season of New Tradition sales event. Shop Jerry Seiner Kia, the #1 Kia store in the Salt Lake Valley. That's Jerry Seiner Kia, South Jordan, and Salt Lake.
Based on combined in-stock inventory and Kia manufacturer sales numbers from January 2022 to December 2023 for Jerry Seiner Kia Salt Lake and Jerry Seiner Kia South Jordan combined. See dealer for more details.
Lowe's knows how to help you save time and money, no matter the job. That's why we can deliver supplies to your job site as soon as same day, so you have more time to get the job done. Because when you need it fast, we've got you covered. Lowe's knows pros. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. Imagine struggling with a slow, outdated computer that takes forever to load anything, that randomly freezes up and is filled with viruses and malware.
Now picture yourself with a powerful desktop or laptop that runs smoothly and efficiently, making your work and entertainment seamless. Take one home today. The new 2025 S1 desktop or SM3 laptop for only $999. You heard that right, $999. You get a blazing fast processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing storage for $999. What else do you get? Lifetime service warranty, and we have 12 months special financing on approved credit. Hurry in right now because supplies are limited, because at PC Laptops, we love you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. $999, PCLaptops.com.
KSL pregame scoreboard update.
Last time Miami won 11 games in a season was in 2003. The last time Iowa State won 11 games in a season was never. In fact, the last time Iowa State even won a conference championship was pre-Titanic meets iceberg. That would be 1911. Both teams trying to get to 11 wins, and they have reached the over-under with 8 minutes to go in the first half. It's 28-28. Iowa State with the ball. Early in the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, Colorado State with a 3-0 lead over Miami, Ohio. TCU continues to lead in the New Mexico Bowl 34-0. A little bit earlier, North Carolina lost to UConn 27-14 in the Fenway Bowl, and Nebraska over Boston College 20-15 in the Pinstripe Bowl. With your KSL Bowl game scoreboard update, I'm Jason Jones. Now back to Matt and Mitch for extended BYU pregame coverage.
BYU, Colorado. Special extended pregame coverage on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back in to extended pregame coverage. Glad to have you with us here on KSL News Radio, getting ready for a big Alamo Bowl, an opportunity to get to win number 11. Key catalyst to these 10 wins has been BYU quarterback Jake Retzloff, and earlier in the week, our Mitch Harper caught up with the BYU signal caller.
This is a pretty fun matchup. Just how this team has approached this month, getting ready for this big stage.
Yeah, just attacking it in every way we can, you know what I mean? Just continue to get better. It's definitely something we talked about in Meyer in the quarterback room, and it was definitely repeated throughout the team. Was just like, we're going to approach these weeks and we're going to get better. We're not going to be like, oh, hang our hat on 10 wins and just relax between this next game. We're going to go get better. And so it's been fun to watch the young guys get a little more reps in practice, help the guys who've been playing get some more rest of themselves. Like, as you know, this season's tough, and battling through little minor injuries and stuff like that is always part of it. And so it's been awesome for me to feel fully healthy again and throw the ball like I've always been able to and run around like I can, and then watching those young guys be able to do stuff similar to that. It's like, man, these guys have been servicing those starters all year, and now they get to go out there and show what they are. And we realize that we got a really deep team, really good team, and we just had a lot of fun in practice and got after it.
So you feel fully healthy, ready to go, and you feel like kind of back to where you were maybe at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, I'm pretty dang close. I'm all of 99.9%, I'd tell you. I mean, this season has been awesome. It's definitely been a grind, though. I've definitely battled things here and there, but, you know, not missing snaps, and that's what's important. And going out there and battling for my team is what I do, and the team knows it.
I got to ask you, after, such a successful season, was it easy just to tune out all the noise at the portal? Because I bring that up, just quarterbacks can generate anything sort of money. I mean, just you're focused to this team, committed, and just what this opportunity can pose to springboard for next year.
Yeah, I mean, this is a quarterback university. Like, we just seem to forget that a little bit, and like, I could talk about how the reasons I'm here. I have so many reasons to be here, and that's why I'm ready to stay and ready to attack next season with the guys. And that portal noise is noise, and first of all, you can't trust half the things you hear about it because most aren't true or even close to true. But I'm locked in. You know, me and Coach A-Rod have an incredible relationship. I would be surprised if there was many other quarterback coordinator relationships like ours, to be truthful with you. And so I'm excited to attack next year and do it in the blue and white.
Last thing, just your thoughts on Colorado's defense and kind of what stood out in your kind of breakdown of this Buff defense and the challenge they pose.
Yeah, they got an identity, and they know it. They are who they are. It's fun to watch these different teams because we play a lot of different teams throughout the year, watch a lot of different defenses. Some defenses do a lot of different things. This defense doesn't do a whole lot of different stuff, but they do their stuff well. The defenses that did that well, I mean, it's like the Seahawks back in the day. They ran the same stuff every play.
Legion of Boom.
Legion of Boom. Everybody knew there was going to be one high cover 3 man, and you're going to still have to go right through that defense. And so that's what the similar feel is with these guys. And it's very pro style. Obviously, with the defense coordinator being who he is, he's going to run a pro style defense and rush the passer, play a lot of man behind that. And so it's going to be fun to attack it and go after it and find out who's better.
That was Mitch with Jake Retzloff earlier in the week. And, yeah, this is a unique challenge, Mitch, because it's not every day BYU plays a Heisman Trophy winner. And to further that, one who plays on both sides of the football, which is an unbelievable feat by Travis Hunter, because you're playing upwards of 100 snaps a game. So, and to be high level on both sides of the football is very impressive that Travis Hunter can play that way, and you got to tip your cap to him. And it's going to be a challenge because, as Jake noted, they play a lot of man defense. So it's going to be up to Jake and these receivers to make plays, and that's been a challenge this season at times for BYU's offense, is beating man coverage. So that's something to watch and something we'll get into a little bit more as we break down this game further on the other side. But facing Hunter and Shadur, it's a unique opportunity, and it's something that Tyler Batty and this defense, they recognize how difficult it's going to be playing those guys.
It's an exciting opportunity. It's a great challenge. He does run around well and extend plays, and he's accurate with the ball even when he's getting hit, right, and even when he's being pressured. And so for us, it presents an awesome opportunity to get after him and get some sacks, right? We know he's going to hold on to that ball a little bit longer. And at the same time, you just got to be careful to not let him, kind of run free and complete those long balls down the field.
That's a good point by Tyler Batty, how key it's going to be to bring down Shadur at times. Now, Shadur has still put up great numbers, and he's been sacked a lot, but BYU's defense has improved. There's no doubt about it. But when you look at the overall numbers and where they rank in the Big 12, there are some concerning statistical trends. One of those is sacks. 15th in the conference in team sacks this year, and they're going up against a team in Colorado that gives up a lot of sacks. So you got to take advantage of those opportunities when they're there. And then the other thing, too, with Shadur is he's so accurate. And Colorado does such a good job on third down, where this defense, they're 10th in the conference in third down conversion percentage defensively, 88th in the country. They're only getting stops on 41% of the defensive conversion opportunities. When there's a third down, if you can get home on a sack and force a punt, that is a big deal for this BYU defense, and it's going to be one of the very interesting battles in this game. Is BYU's pass defense? That's the strength of their defense. They're top 3 in the conference in pass defense. The rush defense is middle of the conference, and then when it comes to pressure, meaning tackles for loss and sacks, they're at the bottom of the league. But Colorado, they're one of the best passing offenses in all of college football, and yet they give up a lot of sacks. So what's going to give in that regard? That's going to be one of the chess matches of this football game between BYU and Colorado. Taking another break on the other side, we'll break down this game further with 3 and out, stats to watch, players to watch, bold predictions. We'll do that next as we continue to get ready for BYU and Colorado.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City.
From ABC News, I'm Dave Packard. Train crash in Florida. Brightline high-speed train colliding with a fire truck in Delray Beach this morning. Delray Beach Fire Rescue Chief Ronald Martin says the fire truck was responding to a call right before the crash.
There have been no fatalities associated that I am aware of. It happened at approximately 10:48 this morning.
Eric Hellitzer was with family and friends at the nearby restaurant there when the train crash occurred.
There was restaurant workers, there were civilians running towards the fire truck to see if everyone was okay. And then immediately after that, there was first responders who were obviously going towards the truck, but a lot of different people were running towards the fire truck.
3 injured firefighters taken to the hospital, 12 people on the train sustaining minor injuries. A tornado watch in the south has been upgraded to a particularly dangerous situation in parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, and Texas. The mayor of Manville, Texas, Dan Davis, confirming to ABC News there was significant damage just south of the town of Annville, where there was at least 1 fatality. And just minutes away, a tornado destroyed multiple houses near Hillcrest. The tornado watch in effect until 9 p.m. Central Time. Russian President Vladimir Putin apologizing for the deadly crash of an Azerbaijani Airlines jet that was trying to land at an airport in Kazakhstan. But Putin stopping short of explicitly saying Russia was responsible for the crash. ABC's Ines de la Catera.
We also spoke to a ballistics expert who took part in the investigation of MH17, which found that plane was down by Russian forces in Ukraine in 2014. He told us he has no doubt it was a warhead explosion close to this plane that caused the crash. Meanwhile, the Russians are blaming Ukraine, saying there was Ukrainian drone activity in the region while the plane was in the air. The Ukrainians are declining to comment.
A U.S. Coast Guard search has not been able to find a 51-year-old man who fell overboard on a Norwegian Epic cruise ship Thursday. You're listening to ABC News.
I spray.
Holidays are upon us, and you know what that means. It's a
still there.
I spray and scrub, but the burnt sauce on my stovetop sticks around.
Sprays can leave grime behind, but Mr. Clean Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser combines the scrubbing power of an eraser with the cleaning power of Dawn to melt away tough messes on contact.
Just wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic than ever with Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Lowe's knows how to help you save time and money, no matter the job. That's why we can deliver supplies to your job site as soon as same day, so you have more time to get the job done. Because when you need it fast, we've got you covered. Lowe's knows pros. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Hi, Susan. We haven't seen or heard from you.
Cold.
We would like to locate Joyce.
The mysteries that made podcast history
Cherie Warren disappeared
are now together for free at kslpodcasts.com.
I'm Dave Cawley, the host of Cold. Join me for Season 1, The Susan Powell Case Files, Season 2, Justice for Joyce, and Season 3, The Search for Cherie. Listen anytime for free at kslpodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
News doesn't just mean information or dates.
It's the story of our local history being told in real time.
Be a part of the story. This is Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
We hope to be a part of your story. We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
BYU's magical run started. 9-0.
Retzloff under some duress will take off and run for the first down inside the 20, the 15, the 10. He's going to go! Touchdown! Touchdown, BYU!
Today, BYU gets a chance for redemption against conference rival Colorado. This is KSL's special extended pregame coverage. Our hosts are Mitch Harper and Matt Baiamonte on Utah's legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio.
Extended pregame coverage. It rolls on, baby. You're getting additional Cougar Sports Saturday extended pregame coverage up until 3:30 with myself and Mitch Harper, who is live inside the Alamo Dome. Set the scene for us, Mitch.
It is sunny. It is close to 80 degrees here in San Antonio. Beautiful weather. And a lot of fans are gathered outside the Alamo Dome waiting to get in. I believe they won't be able to get in until about 2 hours before kickoff. So coming up here soon. So they're lined up. A lot of people inside the stadium. Seeing a good number of BYU fans, but I'd still give the edge to Colorado fans here at the stadium. As I walk outside the Alamo Dome, I see Isaiah Glasker's family, who I saw on my flight on Delta on Christmas night. I see Blake Mangelson's family. So a lot of Cougar fans and their families showing up here at the Alamo Dome, and a lot of Colorado fans as well, decked out in Coach Prime, Coach Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter gear. So this is gonna be a fun atmosphere. I'm very intrigued to see if it ends up being a sellout. Haven't got any official numbers yet on the ticket sales for this game, but expecting to see a really good crowd tonight here in the Alamo City.
Let's keep breaking down this matchup between the Cougars and the Buffaloes with a segment we do throughout the football season, breaking down the game with key players, stats, and bold predictions. It's 3 and Out.
3 and Out. A quick hit look at BYU's next opponent on the gridiron. It's 3 and Out on Cougar Sports Saturday.
We'll give you some players to watch on both sides of the field. I guess, Cougars and Buffaloes. We'll give you some interesting stats that could play a role in the game and some bold predictions. And like any football drive, you know how it starts.
First down.
Stats to pay attention to. I'll start things off, Mitch. Jake Retzloff against zone coverage, this is from Pro Football Focus, has an 87 passing grade. He is great against zone coverage. However, Colorado does not run a lot of zone. When you have Travis Hunter, the Heisman Trophy winner, you play a lot of man defense, and Jake has struggled at times against man defense this year. Only a 54 passing grade against man defense. He's got to be better, and the receivers got to get open, which is going to be a challenge against a difficult pass defense for Colorado.
Yeah, that's going to be a big challenge, and I can't wait to see how BYU's personnel matches up against the top end talent of Colorado. I think that's the big storyline to me going into this game is how does BYU fare against the best of the best that college football has to offer this season? They haven't faced talent like this from Colorado or any team this season. BYU has. So it's going to be quite the test. And I think Jacob Robinson's someone that's, kind of salivating at the opportunity to really showcase himself and this BYU defense against the high-powered Colorado offensive attack.
What's a key stat for you, Mitch?
For me, it's going to be the number one, and BYU's number one nationally in interceptions. They've got 20 interceptions this season by 12 different players. Shedeur Sanders doesn't throw many picks. He takes a lot of sacks, but he's only thrown 8 interceptions this season. To me, the interceptions are going to be a big story. BYU's had at least 1 interception in every game this season. Can they pick off Shedeur Sanders? If they can, that bodes well for BYU's chances to spring the upset because they got to set up this BYU offense with some short fields because we know when Jake Retzloff's healthy, as he noted he is this week, BYU capitalizes on those short fields. So, getting the Shedeur Sanders and forcing him into some mistakes could be big because BYU every single week, that's who they are. They generate interceptions, and I want to see it happen again today against Shedeur Sanders.
Second down.
Players to watch. Let's start with the Cougs, the higher-rated team, the Cougs. For me, it's Jake Retzloff, as I just mentioned, not so great against man defense, and he also hasn't been very good this year against the blitz. When he does not get blitzed, he picks teams apart. But when the pressure comes on, he's inaccurate. He throws turnovers. His PFF passing grade 52 against the blitz. So Jake's got to improve in that area, and no better defense to show improvement against the blitz and against man than Colorado. So that is the biggest battle I'm watching offensively today is Jake versus that man defense led by Travis Hunter.
I like that a lot. I think for me, I'm really curious to see how Waylon Lapuaho performs. He's the projected starting right tackle because Braden Keim out with an injury. Isaiah Jada, I know he's really sad to be missing this game. He's out with an injury. He's a former Colorado Buffalo. He would have loved a chance at his old team. So Waylon Lapuaho, he's listed on the first team offensive line at right tackle. We'll see if he ends up giving it a go at that right tackle spot. He never played the position until that Houston game in the regular season finale. He's going to have one of his best tests. And I think if he performs well, Matt, you might make a case that Waylon should be the starting right tackle next year in 2025 and then have Andrew Gentry as the left tackle, the Michigan transfer next year at that spot. So it could be a little bit of an audition for Waylon Lapuaho to make a case to be that starting tackle, but he's got to come up big tonight against a Colorado defensive front that's got 37 sacks this season.
Defensively, for me, I'll go Tanner Wall. You already mentioned earlier in the segment, 20 interceptions, number one nationally. Tanner Wall is a part of that group. He's been really opportunistic at times. He's someone who, on maybe a deflection or a pass over the middle, could make a play. I'm curious Tanner Wall can pick off Shedeur Sanders and make a play from that safety spot.
Yeah, and I want to see Tyler Batty, too, get some numbers here in this game. And, Colorado gives up around 3.5 sacks per game to their opponents. Shedeur Sanders, as I noted, he'll take some hits. He doesn't throw picks, but he takes some sacks. Let's see Tyler Batty get some numbers and inflate that sack number for the 2024 season as he plays his final game as a BYU Cougar. You look at his stats. I mean, he's among the all-time best in sack totals since 2000 in BYU history. So let's see him kind of climb up the leaderboard and get some sack totals enhanced tonight against the Buffs.
Third down.
Bold predictions. Mitch, you want to start us off on this one?
Along those same lines, I'm going to say BYU has 4+ sacks tonight against Colorado. I do think that BYU is going to be able to get home to Shedeur Sanders. He kind of reminds me a little bit. Well, he's one of the best quarterbacks in college football, but from a comparison standpoint, think back to week 2 against SMU, Preston Stone, quarterback who ideally sits in the pocket. He can run if called upon, and that's a similar case with Shedeur Sanders, but ideally he's not running. He doesn't want to, and that was the case with Preston Stone. Think of how successful BYU was against Stone. They basically ended his time at SMU, and now he's at Northwestern. I think there's some similarities there where I think BYU's defense can have some success against quarterbacks that don't like to really escape it out of the pocket and run. Shedeur can, but he doesn't really want to. And so I think BYU gets some sacks. This offensive line for Colorado's improved from last year, but they're still not elite. And I think that BYU's defense can get some get home and get 4+ sacks today. What about you? What's your bold prediction?
For me, I'm gonna go to the special teams. We haven't noted them much at all this show, Mitch, but they've been really good this year. They got a punt return touchdown. They've got a kickoff return touchdowns. Their field goal kicker's been really good. And their punter, Vanderhaar, I think he's done a nice job. He doesn't have booming punts like Rico does, but he's been solid. There haven't been any deadly shanks that have cost them a game, and he's done a nice job holding for Farron. Look, you're in a dome. The weather's nice, but you're in a dome. Great field goal conditions. I'm going to say Will Farron makes a 60-yard field goal in this game. Why not? The dude has the leg. He's been accurate. Let this man kick a 60-yard field goal. Because here's the thing. If you can get points on any drive, take those points. I don't want to see BYU on the 35-yard line on 4th and 4. Go for it. If the game's still close, take the points. You've got the kicker in the dome. Give this man an opportunity to kick from 60 yards if you have that chance.
I'm on board with that because automatic points with Big Game Bill. You know, Will Farron has been clutch this year. He's Special Teams Player of the Year in the Big 12, first team All Big 12 kicker this season. He's outstanding, and he's coming back in 2025. What a weapon BYU has at that kicker spot, and big games where they're tight contests, and on paper this is a very close matchup. Could come down to a Will Farron field goal. I like that pick.
If it came down to another Will Farron field goal, that would be something else. He's got the game winner against Utah this year, and then a chance to get 11 wins. Look, Farron, him and his family, they celebrated Christmas a little bit early. They had it before they went down to San Antonio so they could focus on this bowl game. How fitting would it be to have one of the heroes of this football team and someone who's been so reliable, have it come down to that, Mitch? That'd be crazy.
It would be, and I think Cougar Nation would love that spot because he's been automatic. He's so clutch, and he's become such a weapon for this BYU team to have him and know that if you do trot out Will Farron, you're probably coming away with 3. So I like those odds. If it comes down to a Will Farron kick, I like the chances for BYU if they're in that spot.
All right, let's take one more break on the other side. We'll give you our score predictions and get some final thoughts from Mitch, who's inside the Alamo Dome. No fans yet, waiting for them to come in, but are there any players trickling out onto the field yet before we go to break?
No players yet. Here outside the stadium, there's a big fan fest going on, and seeing a lot more blue coming through, and that's exciting. As this should be a really fun atmosphere here in the Alamo Dome. I mean, a closed environment should get pretty loud, I hope, and hopefully it's for the guys in blue.
All right, taking our final break, we'll give you our score predictions next here on Extended Pregame.
Jerry Seiner Kia South Jordan has over 120 new Kia Tellurides in stock. Save up to $5,000 off MSRP when you buy during Kia's Season of New Traditions sales event. Save up to $5,000 off new Tellurides. Over 120 to choose from. Hurry to Jerry Seiner now. That's Jerry Seiner Kia South Jordan.
Discount off MSRP includes dealer contribution and Kia rebate of $1,000. Tax, license, and fees are extra. See dealer for details. Expires 1/2/2025.
I'm a stand-up comedian, but having a big old gut really isn't funny. Dumping 51 pounds of weight feels amazing, and I couldn't have done it without Soda weight loss.
Soda weight loss works. Let go of that stubborn, visceral fat without injections, without drugs, without hunger.
And no, I didn't take any drugs and I didn't take any of the shots. Because who wants to be on that for the rest of your life? Not me and not you.
Soda's program is fast, easy, and convenient. You won't be hungry. You don't count calories. And it's designed for a busy lifestyle. There's a reason Soda Weight Loss has almost 9,000 Google reviews.
I'm happy. My wife's happy. Soda Weight Loss helped us both.
Lose weight together with Soda Weight Loss. Start up with a partner right now for the cost of one. We've never made an offer like this before, and you have a very limited time to take advantage of it. Get started right now at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
How is your job to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then, someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
Lowe's knows how to help you save time and money, no matter the job. That's why we can deliver supplies to your job site as soon as same day, so you have more time to get the job done. Because when you need it fast, we've got you covered. Lowe's knows pros. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Not to brag, but Progressive's Name Your Price tool is mankind's greatest tool ever. Even better than the wheel. Sure, without the wheel, we wouldn't have modern transportation or funny videos of dogs riding skateboards. But without the Name Your Price tool, we wouldn't have easy access to auto insurance options based on our budget. And, well, cars do need wheels. They also need insurance, and insurance never goes flat. Learn more about the greatest tool ever, the Name Your Price tool at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
KSL pregame scoreboard update.
Well, they're about to go to half at the Pop-Tarts Bowl. It's still 28-28, 23 seconds left in the half, but Miami's in the red zone, so we'll see what happens right here before the half. On the other end of the spectrum, the kind of a defensive battle or maybe offensive ineptitude, I don't know. In the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, Miami of Ohio against Colorado State, it's 3-3 there. TCU continues to lead 34-3 over Louisiana in the New Mexico Bowl. And Matt and Mitch, I'm going to go ahead and take my shot at the score prediction right now for the Alamo Bowl. As much as it pains me to say, because I really, really don't like Deion Sanders. I really can't stand the guy. But I think that Colorado maybe has just a little too much firepower for BYU. I'm going 34-27 Colorado over BYU. I really can't stand to do it because I really cannot stand Deion Sanders. But that's what I'm going with. With your KSL Bowl game scoreboard update, I'm Jason Jones. Now back to Matt and Mish for extended BYU pregame coverage.
BYU, Colorado. Special extended pregame coverage on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back in. Extended pregame coverage. It has been a blast. And if you missed any of the show, we had a lot of great interviews thanks to Mitch Harper with boots on the ground in San Antonio, Brian Santiago, Tom Homo, Jake Retzloff, the coordinators. It'll all be up on the podcast feed. Jason Jones just picked Colorado because he doesn't like Coach Prime. How can you not like Coach Prime? Listen to what Coach Prime had to say about BYU and Kalani earlier in the week, and then tell me you don't like Coach Prime.
Just the competitiveness, the competition, because they're not going nowhere. We're going to have to deal with these guys next year and the year after that and the year after that. They're not going anywhere, and this man is not going anywhere. And they have his attitude. They have his intellect, his intelligence, his desire, his want. His team embodies who he is as a man, and that is a daunting task.
How could you hate the man after that kind of commentary, bitch?
You can't. Coach Prime's, I think, been a lot of fun to hear from this week. here in San Antonio, and very complimentary of Kalani Sitake and this BYU program. And it's interesting. Coach Prime noted even at the kickoff luncheon that he gave praise to BYU fans, saying that they have been very respectful, which they haven't always received on the road, Colorado, because they have a very polarizing team that you either love them or you hate them. Maybe there's some in between after, this week, but I think that BYU fans have been respectful, and I like what Coach Prime's doing. I think he's good for the Big 12, and I think he's good for college football at large, because he's just making us kind of think differently about the sport, where it's just always these tired, traditions, and he's making us think, hey, maybe the transfer portal is okay. Like maybe the flipping a roster, is okay. If these guys are gonna get paid, then this is kind of semi-pro, as he puts it. And, I just really enjoy the commentary from Coach Prime, and it's a different style. And yesterday seeing him in overalls and a hoodie, and Kalani's in a sport coat and a polo, two opposite ends of the fashion spectrum. But yet Coach Prime said, I'll give him the win. He got me with the win, and helped me understand that. But I think that Coach Prime's been really enjoyable this week here in San Antonio.
And I got to give respect to Prime, too, in terms of respecting the bowl game, because it just feels like most teams in this situation with Travis Hunter, with Shedeur Sanders, they wouldn't play. That's been the trend for a long time. This is not a playoff game, and yet he's pushing the importance of this bowl game. Now, I could take this all back if they only play a series and then they're done for the game, but all roads lead to them playing in this game. That's been the commentary.
Yes.
And if that holds true, then you got to tip your cap to Prime for installing that culture at Colorado.
Absolutely. And they've got an insurance policy for both of those guys. They didn't disclose the amount, but it's significant. And so they can have the peace of mind and going out there and play. And, because they are top 3 picks, most likely, in April's draft. So a lot on the line for those guys. And I'm with you. I think it's awesome that Coach Prime said, we're not tapping out. We're finishing this thing. And, he inherited a Colorado program that was, one win, 2 years ago. And they've really changed the trajectory of their program. And I think this is going to be a really big stage tonight here in San Antonio for this game. And BYU and Colorado squaring off, and both teams, I think, should put out a great product tonight, and to have the stars of both teams playing and not opting out and opting to play, man, maybe it rewrites the narratives around bowl games in the future, because I know you and I, we grew up as kids. We love these bowl games. Like they used to be signature events. And I think the last 5 to 7 years, it's been like, well, what does this really mean? Well, tonight it feels like a big time deal. It's a bit of a throwback, and I can get on board with that completely.
Amen. Well said. And with that being said, Mitch, which team is going to come out victorious in your eyes? What's your prediction?
You know what? Coming into this week, I thought it was going to be Colorado decisively. Maybe it's just a little bit of the influence of being around the team and hearing some of the buzz around this group. And I really get the sense that BYU is motivated in this one. I mean, I remember being down in Shreveport, and I could just sense BYU was not motivated. 2022, New Mexico, they were, a bit motivated, but there was still a feeling of, well, how's Sol J really going to perform at quarterback? What are they going to really, how are they going to look? But this one, I really get the sense BYU is motivated, and Colorado is too. So I think it makes for a good game. I'm going to go with BYU 31-30 Colorado. I think Will Ferrin kicks a late field goal to win it. And I'll give BYU the upset victory here. Do I feel great about that pick? No. I could see Colorado jumping out early and just this thing snowballs on BYU potentially. I could see that. But I believe that BYU is going to start out strong, and they're going to maybe score first and kind of settle the nerves a little bit. And I think BYU with a late big game Bill kick gets it done 31-30 here in the Alamo City. What about you?
Me? I want to pick BYU, Mitch. I want
to.
Do
it, Matt.
I can't
do it for the nation.
I can't do it, Mitch. I can't. At the end of the day, it feels like what Colorado is good at defensively, BYU is not good at offensively. And because of that, I have a hard time seeing them getting to 30. I think that's the critical number. So I have Colorado 30, BYU 24. I think it'll be close. I think BYU's defense will make enough plays to keep them around. I can't get on board offensively considering what we've seen through 12 games. I struggle to see them figuring out that pass defense from Colorado.
That's fair. And I think that I think a lot of Cougar fans probably feel the same way. And I think that because, again, what happened in November, I think put a sour taste for a lot of Cougar fans on this season because, really 10-2, just on the surface, you say that from where it was in August, incredible season, but how it ended just felt a little bit underwhelming. And you wonder, how good is this BYU team? And that's what I think is so critical about this game, is just validating what you've been, what you were. Because, I remember walking away from that game in Waco at Baylor and seeing BYU jump out to a 21-0 lead, and they held on, but it was like you came away from that game saying BYU's for real, and they are legit, and they took down at UCF in dominant fashion. Let's see that again. Let's see it show up, and I think that's just going to be so fascinating to me for this game. And if BYU, the real BYU, will they show up? And I think it's going to really kind of tell the story of how this season is viewed in the history of BYU football, the way that this game is played and the outcome of this game. Because if you win, and I just think it validates everything, and this could be viewed as one of the great seasons in BYU football history. And for it to only be year 2 in the Big 12 and to potentially get an 11th season, that'd be incredible. Really set BYU up for exciting ahead as they get into the heart of their existence in the Big 12 Conference.
Producer Nate Slack, want to get in here quick with a prediction?
Yeah, I think I've had a lot of the same concerns you have, but back to what Mitch said, I think BYU is going to be really motivated for this game just because Colorado's been the talk of the football season all year long. Even back to last year when they took down TCU early in the season, they've had the focus of everybody, and I think BYU is going to be super motivated for the game tonight. And I've got BYU winning 34-27
by a touchdown.
By a touchdown. I have some of the same concerns about the offense in November, but we heard from Jake Retzloff earlier in the show about how he's finally healthy. Aaron Roderick even said he probably shouldn't have played against Kansas, but I think with the healthy offense, it's been a full month since BYU last played. I think they're going to be refreshed. I think they're going to be motivated. I think BYU can win this by a touchdown.
Final thoughts, Mitch, from the Alamo Dome before we kick off?
It's going to be a great game. I think that, this has been a special season, and it's been a pleasure doing it with you guys every single week, and we're going to do it more in the future, but looking forward to one final ride for this 2024 BYU football team.
Absolutely, and we'll enjoy your coverage, Mitch, on KSLSports.com. You can follow him at Mitch_Harper, KSL Sports. Mitch does a fantastic job as the resident BYU insider here, and we're looking forward to your coverage from the Alamo Dome. We got to say goodbye for extended pregame coverage. It's been a blast. Enjoy this final game, Cougar fans. There's not many of these every single year, so you got to soak them in, and we're glad you did it with us right here on KSL News Radio for extended pregame coverage.
The following is a presentation of the new skin, BYU Sports Network. BYU football is 2 hours away from kickoff, and Cougar Pregame Live is here to get you ready for BYU versus Colorado. Cougar Pregame Live is brought to you by Mountain America, the official credit union of BYU Athletics. Cougar Pregame Live is also brought to you by Tucano's Brazilian Grill. Phenomenal flavors, a festive setting, and more fun than you can shake a skewer at. Also brought to you by Siegfried and Jensen, helping Utah families for over 30 years. Alongside Hans Olsen, here's your host, Jason Shepard.
Good afternoon, BYU fans. Welcome into Mountain America Credit Union Cougar Pregame Live. Mountain America, the official credit union of BYU Athletics. Tonight, the 17th-ranked BYU Cougars face the 23rd-ranked Colorado Buffaloes in the Alamo Bowl. That's right, we've made it to the bowl game, and what a great one it is. So excited to be able to talk about this with my man, Hans Olsen, who joins me now.